time to get the energy drink, unfortunately, but it is a-okay. I'm just gonna tweak some things.
Just power through, baby, like you do. Use that innate human energy. You don't
Gotta
need
do what
no
we gotta
energy.
do, right?
You don't need no false energy.
Where's my...
So let's go, baby. We are diving into game 1 of the very first Sprocaine Trios tournament. We got, it's a draft tournament. So we had, just before this, we had all the captains and participants in a room, in a Discord room, and the captains were going through drafting. So, you know, teams of 3 now. Each captain goes around, takes their first pick, second, and then third. And then with trios, we are at 12 teams of 3. With a lobby of 36. No, just kidding. 13 teams of 3. So we got 39. So fully packed lobby, diving right into it here. Oh, we got Magical joining us for the cast. We also got Symeri spectating for us here and going to be joining us for a little bit of casting as well. So welcome to both of you guys.
Yo.
Hello, hello. Alrighty, I'm excited for this one because as Zikrik was just saying, we had a whole draft, so teams are all shaken up. Everyone's getting a lot of practice on a bunch of different things, and we're going to see how they are going to work here onto the breach. And so far, a couple of initial fights. Also, a cool thing is there are 13 teams. There's not our normal 12 with trios. It's going to be 13, so 39 players hit the breach.
Let's go, bro. I'm stoked, like, because trios is already feeling more crowded. So 13, like, throw one more team in there, it's gonna feel even more crowded. Little air battle here between Baroof and Cookies. Who's gonna win it out? Looks like the Kingpin on the back foot. One tap here, trying to get away.
Yeah, just needs one more hammer, throwing it out. But Cookie's able to get enough distance so far, and we see how Baroof is hunting for this one as far as he can. But oh, I just got skipped forward.
What happened?
Uh-oh. I think my thing was lagging a little bit. It just jumped forward, so I didn't see the whole chase on that one.
Oh, okay. Are you looking at like Pog up in Ion now, or in above Ion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I am.
Cool. Cool.
Okay,
Oh, Symeri, quick tip that Main Jam gave me for observing, like the observer goat, is you can actually right click and it'll give you, if you hold right click, it'll give you like the ability to slow pan. Yeah. So you can like, yeah, you can like slow pan. So basically, you want to do a mix of that and like popping open the map and either clicking teams on the bottom left, or if you also pop open the mini map and double click a team, it'll take you right there. So you can like fast travel with that, and then once you're at a spot, you can like right click, kind of you know, smooth your way around.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Here we go, all the way over to Underrot now. We're gonna see how a lot of your teams are starting to stack up. This C9 squad, I gotta say, is really fun one to watch. Greninja, Tom Kick, and Fall from Grace, aka Luca, playing that Eva for us. So I'm really excited to see.
Squad.
So
how many Evas are out here? I didn't even look.
So there's 2 players in EU that have been playing Eva, and that is OC15 and Fall from Grace. Fall from Grace is the well-known Izuna
right?
player.
Yeah.
If you don't know. So plays a lot of that, as we see. Oh, wow. WTB are eliminated. I thought that was just going to be a simple pick. I didn't realize that everyone else had been gone already.
Yeah, so just like that, one squad out. Coming up to Dawn Caps here. Looks like Hachi and Shin in a rough spot. Pinched right in between 2 teams. BC on the right. Kazaro, huge grab. Pulls him back through the wall. So BC going to get an easy knock there. Looks like the other member of FF was going to get out. Yeah, Shin able to get out. Now fight breaking out here.
As they're trying to get them pushed back into the walls, and no escape. The pull in. Adamark has been taken down by Orlando's, and now Talk more used to kind of scare them away. Blast off as well. So Deparak going over without the rest of the team, but BC do not look to punish. Instead, they look to get out of there.
That hog just got punched to the moon right there. You'll love to see it. All the way back across the map. Taking a look at NT down here. We got OC15 on the other Eva you called out, Magical, along with Yazer and Godfrey on the Shiv, making their way out of the storm. And we see like, you know, what's like the beginning of trios meta Magical was like kind of slow and calculated while players were trying to figure it out. It seems like it's got progressively more violent, but what we see is mostly this, like teams getting their quick 6. Now we're going to see violence through night 1 into day 2. And this is like really the opportunity to get ahead. And I really, you know, personally like the change where they rolled back the soft caps on the XP so that there are these clear designated windows to fight, right? Like where you hit night 1,
Right.
you're level 6, like you're getting 20% of XP from any PvE you do. So really the big gains you're going to get from PvP, and we see it right here. NT setting up for the ambush.
See, I have no idea. About to get jumped on, but they're waiting. NT taking their time on this one. I thought they would try to go for the fight a little bit sooner, but opt not to. Instead, they kind of let them go for the spawn here of our Abyssal.
Ooh,
Try to see if the
this is
boss can
gonna
be
be
taken out
heated.
quickly. Yeah, but they are ready. As you were talking about, just look at this. Getting a lot of damage onto it, but NT, I think they just want to simply snipe it away. Mana,
Maybe.
not realizing here's the time to go. OC, the first one in. They push ST back, but the Bungie might shoot him back in. It's going to pull back NT, almost dooming them, but they're able to heal up so much. OC 15, I talked about it before. Playing that Eva, having the orbs, but the orbs are gone. Try to heal back. The punch into the wall gets the stun on OC 15, but Mana unable to capitalize on that one. So now orbs put down again by NT. They're going to keep themselves very healthy as they look to peel out of there. And if we look at the items, I think that was actually secured by ST.
Yeah.
NT did not get the steal on it.
Yeah, so actually really played by ST there to just like fend off the surprise ambush, not lose a member, and secure the soul still or the boss still and make their way out. Get that little bit of extra XP. We see 2 of the members on level 7. Adamark already on level 8 up here. We just hit day 2, so everyone rolling to 9 now. So we're gonna have. But my point before that I was gonna mention is like I really like having these like fighting windows back where you roll into night 1 and teams are just scrapping, and that's a lot more of what we've been seeing with the trios meta shakeout is just like big violence night 1 and then it kind of proceeding from there. And I don't know, personally, I thought at first it wasn't going to be maybe as exciting to watch as squads, but sometimes it almost seems like there's more fights because there's more teams on the map.
Right. I think that's kind of like the big thing that we're seeing from it is that having more teams and one less player on your team as well, it means there are a lot more opportunities to look for these skirmishes and try to find a target out of position. And you're talking about the soft level cap that there is for level 6 that it kind of was brought back into this one. But there's still opportunities to go past that, not only from the yearbooks, but just constant fighting like we're seeing all the way here by Magebog. It's BBL pushed down to 1 and now eliminate Choipy, unable to get away because the third party was able to intervene. There's a push back onto NT, still trying to get away, but Kaizaro is the only one left here for BC and might just look to get out of here while the two teams scrap. The pull back in, a third party again. FF go about another way. Fierce Salon was canceled, making sure that damage wasn't on to the rest of the team, but DBC is still struggling as NT are taken out by our third party FF.
Dude, FF just got everything there, bro. They come in last minute, clean up the backside of the fight, get a squad wipe, looking for another kill here. So I think 3 or 4 kills on that fight for FF with a squad wipe. Very well played on the third party there. Coming down, Kaizaro now in trouble.
Oh no, he hasn't been able to get away. He ran into more teams. And so BC are eliminated at 10th place. But Dan and Pog will try to fight. Second win takes down Clarny, but FF again. They've been rotating around this whole time, waiting for the play. Two-way teleporter. Do you try to get out of there, Pog? Now that you realize that FF are here, they could try it, and they are going to escape, leaving FF to clean up and reap the benefits of another scrap.
Dude, so much like fast-paced violence rolling into day 2 here. We just see 2 squads get knocked out back-to-back. There are like 5 squads fighting in the bottom right. We had a couple teams positioning up here in dom caps. We see C9 throwing down fire, trying to get vision of that high ground across them. They know another squad is over there posting up for this fortress, so it looks like they are going to have pink on their left with a fire of their own, so definitely going to be contested. As we see the other teams pretty much just split farming for the most part, or farming in different areas of the map. It does look like FF might run into Pog here.
FF would be happy with that. 2 golds on their side, a blue for Hachi as well. Pog gonna scare them off for now.
MadMagical is the guy we've seen do some crazy stuff the last couple times we've casted EU, isn't it? On the Kingpin.
Yes, he has Mech and Lil Meep. Both of
Lil
them have
Meep
been
is the other one.
as we go top side and we see C9 lose Greninja. They're attempting to take that solo. You talked about it before. C9 unfortunately unable to contest CT too well, so CT are going to be able to grab themselves that easy soul, and now we go all the way down south and we see more fighting. Pog are still getting chased down by FF because they ran them all the way up to MXT, but only have 1 member left as well. So FF really looking like the Titans of this game.
Yeah, they are on the hunt. That's a scary team too. Bishop, Shiv, Kingpin. That's like full-blown engage, delete you instantly before you know what's happening. So like definitely a team to be watching after. I think that's third squad wipe they're on now. So they're going to be racking up big kill points from this game. And we see multiple teams looking to maybe contest Fortress, but GG just gets it free and a free hook after.
And the pull back in, as Soul almost pushed into the corrupted zone, but SSD no longer want to chase. They had gotten themselves out of a bad position that Orlando's had put them into. But GT still looking to see if they can rotate around, have a better position as that corrupted zone is going to start pushing SSD into their hands. But we go all the way down to C9. See Tom Kick, the only Kingpin here, tries to get away as Dan too is getting chased back by Hachi. So two teams trying to enter into town. Kobayashi's
three looking at the
three,
heart.
yeah, because Lancelot comes from the south part as
That's
well. So once it's daybreak, it'll be a little bit safer, but it is nighttime. No place to find yourself at night.
Yeah, everyone's eyeing that res like, what? Can I get a safe spot? Yeah, 6 seconds here. It's gonna be a look. Probably gonna go in order. We'll see. We've seen a ton of heart shenanigans though, all the time, especially in EU. So we'll see if anyone tries to go mess with them. It looks like these two teams might end up making their way up in there. We
So
are
it's
into the
actually
new
kinda
day,
cool.
level 3. Yeah, look, all three solos in here, bro.
There it is.
Just taking turns.
But the thing that's
Oh,
really cool to me is that we see Aiden back on the Kingpin. Theo just got pulled into the heart right there. So MX
It looked, dude,
having to, again.
did he get pulled or did
Did
he
he
run?
walk into it? I don't know, because it kind of glitched forward for
It
me,
looked
so I
like he
didn't
was
actually
holding
quite see.
like holding directional input when he got rezzed and just like instant into it. Maybe, I don't know.
Let's see. So C9 still hoping to get onto the core as TBC are going to chase out Tom Kick. MXT going to take advantage of this point, get themselves some more items, build themselves back up to actually be able to kind of contend against these teams later on, as we do see Dan finally get eliminated. SSD having rotated all the way around Kobayashi's was able to get that pick. We have this still look at FF. This team has been fighting so many times, and SS almost lose mana. That was nearly an amazing pull for Meki Mech.
Yeah, I think FF's looking scary here. Level 13, we look at like the, full pinks across the board, basically just missing one on Hachi, one shard there. But for the most part, FF at full power here and going to be looking to take it too. They're not afraid of this damage toll. They want this team squad wipe to take this damage toll for themselves. So I expect them to look, probably not overforce it, but look for this fight still against ST. Oh, I think they know they might be getting pinched here. They see purple to the south. So maybe not wanting to look quite yet.
Who just got... Oh, it's from SSD. So they have... you see all those two-way teleporters they have? So they can really make things awkward as we have the train about to clack down the tracks, and it's going to be FF splitting SSD, pushing back Sprocaine, but they lose Shin at the same time. Mickey Mech tries to get onto Soul, but they got the chains connected onto Shin and try to make it go... They can engage again, but it's going to be the knockdown from Soul as they chase down with another chain onto Meki Mech, but Soul does not want that anymore. Taking a little bit too much damage. Meki Mech, Hachi not going to be able to join together right now as they kind of have to separate themselves to look for the play. But we go back right north of Kobayashi's. Luco will escape. This EVA player actually is going to survive. Tom Kick, where are you right now? Where is Tom Kick around the map? Still looking for the Kobayashi's res onto Greninja.
Okay, yeah, so Fall from Grace is back. He does have a crown, so they have options. FF is now in here after the back of the fight. That was a really close fight between FF and Purple there, but just actually FF not able to get their res on the Wisp while the other team was. Kind of turns the fight there, even though it was super close. So they do get the heart right through, but Tom Kick with the bungee. Someone with the bungee. I don't know. Tom Kick with the pull.
Bungee there, and then the pull from Tom Kick. It was unfortunate. It landed on the wrong person. You needed to
Who
land
got the
on
first
FF.
bungee? Was that Fall from Grace? Who was that?
I think it was, but let's see how this fight's going to go up north as ST. We're pushed back by a nuke, and they're forced to use the chilling finale, but it's going to be enough space for TBC to get away. Still looking for ST, who get themselves glided back to land. Stay away from TBC, but Revel looking for the pull, landing at perfect time. The dunk, not in time though, but they are getting the push back. Trying to get the boombox to keep themselves alive too, but the boombox is only going to be for so much time, even with the bungee shot for mana. Isn't going to pull any members of TBC out of position.
Yeah, it looked like caught a little mantle on that dunk, maybe didn't actually get put through. This Kobayashi's heart action is just so heated, bro. It's just going off in here. Oh, Fall from Grace
So
gets
right
a
now,
centimeter away.
Yeah, he's trying to use the beckon to pull them into the heart as well.
That's
he
a
wants
good
to be able
one
to get
for it.
them It is. There's a really good ability because it can drag multiple members into the core, but that's why C9 are just playing around that for now. No reason for them to venture out of it. But the TU teams that have been staring one another down for some time, ST and TBC, the push in, finally finding that spike. So ST now struggle to get away. Pog might intervene, but Aiden, even with that pull like that, they could try to answer back, but it's going to be the clap down on a Revel.
Dude, so one for TVC and then just traded one back instantly for Pog, pulling him down from the south there. Nice grab by Aiden to lock that one in with the dunk. Kobayashi still popping off. Party down here. Deathbox coming through. Doesn't even want to mess with the heart. So MXT gets one off.
Did you see?
No,
did you see how the Becken almost pulled Mech into the heart, but it was a good dodge away from Mech to get out of there. As a nice blast, Hachi eliminates the team inside of Kobayashi's during daytime. MXT holding on hope that they can revive the team, but another Bungie fall. You went right into that. Luca killed themselves onto the core as the TP gonna drag away the core. No longer something they can utilize to keep themselves alive or look for those fights. They gotta start getting themselves out of town.
Dude, this is peak Kobayashi's heart gameplay right here, bro. That was amazing. Hachi with the insane double air blast, followed up with the fall from grace attempt. Self-sacrifice there. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, let's go north though. FF. They got themselves out of Kobayashi's. They were able to bring back in more of their players, and they look for the fight on a GT as Shin is pushed into the waters, but he's able to glide back out. ST have Akalinks pushing in. The damage not enough. It's a chilling finale. Will it actually hit anyone? Not gonna look for it. Just gonna look for the spike for the crystals, but the dash back in from Shin. Blast off on the other side. Taken down. FF is Mech, the last one remaining. Push over the abyss, but no one looking to chase that down because Pog are awaiting their arrival to eliminate FF.
Akalinks just put them in such a rough position, comes in kind of behind them by himself in a little bit of a 1v3, puts out so much damage. Then by the time they try to recover, the rest of his team follows up and just deletes him. So really nice play there from Akalinks to lock in what looked like a pretty easy squad wipe.
I thought for a second that was going to be a pull there from Theo. He was able to get around the bright shield of Blackrock, but look at where MXT have to go through.
Yeah, that's rough.
They can't get past it. There's so many walls. It took them a lot just to dash over the other side, but now it puts them in this awkward position where Bebo can continue to throw out these bombs and try to get the damage on MXT, who have to leave, and they have to go over such a large abyss in order to escape.
Yeah, and everyone's got their kingpin, bro. There's a kingpin on every ledge here.
That's
I love it, dude. Kingpin is like the playmaker. He's one of my favorite characters to watch, man. He is just such a cool hunter with what he can do. But like this is in this situation, Islands and having to push. Oh, MXT trying for it, goes all the way over.
There's the teleporter behind them, but not going to work out too well. They tried to get into the back line while Pog will fight simultaneously with SST. MXT down to only Purple with the rings to help him out, while Pog were able to get away from the initial engage from SST, and then Purple dodging away back to land. But this land is not your friend. It is very hostile as Pog still pressuring themselves around SST up north. ST lose mana as Detbrek was able to get the kill onto him, and ST are going to be pushed back yet again, giving GT the space to win, while Purple dodging away from the pull just narrowly. And on this island, Pog and SSD both having tried to fight for a territorial claim onto it, haven't relented that contestation. Tom on the other side almost dunks Purple with the ring.
He reverses
Doesn't get it. It's going to be MXT who take him down instead. So only Luca left as she is going to be spiked down. Eva's gone. MXT alive. The pull onto the other side of SST. Gets him into the storm while the bungee shot going to help out as they're looking for Purple. Theo's last one into the storm with an abyssal breaker. Eliminates XT. Same with, we see the fight on the other side. Pog barely surviving, getting away. Finally taken down by GT on the northern part, but SST having to run away from ST, getting control of the island, putting Sprocaine out into Wisp, only leaving Blackrock with the TP to survive.
Oh, SSD was playing that fight so well, bro. They had full control of that center island. They were fighting like three teams on multiple fronts. Sprocaine was just pumping damage. Now it's just going to be Blackrock left, and just like that, off of the fifth party from ST, SSD is eliminated off of the backwoods. Look at what
a pull! Where'd that come from? Orlando's out of nowhere, and the core that had been TP'd over to ST, they've got to play around it. No one wants to go onto that land to pull onto Ash to keep it alive, but the slam down from Orlando's gets the dunk, and they're TPing with a two-way tunnel, trying to get the flank onto ST, but not even waiting it out. It's going to be a boombox put down. Instead, it's Orlando's looking for the pull to drag him back for the core that's been channeled this whole time. They might be able to bring back in ST for one more shot at glory against ST.
Looks like they are going to get it through here. So with the Kobayashi's heart teleport and the damage soul, they have their little island up here. Actually, an infinite amount of reses they can get through if they're able to hold this. So they're able to reverse that hook, get their full team back. Now it's a little more scary for GT without numbers advantage. Damage soul. GT has, I mean, we look at the two-way hook again.
Tunnel.
Not quite going to go
Orlando's
through that time.
almost finding him on the other side, but it's going to be Deprek over the abyss and spiked down while they have the pull, looking for a slam. They got to get control of the core if they want to be able to bring back in the team, but the double dash into the two-way tunnel, but push back onto one, almost was able to take down Accolings into the storm. They're keeping this oath pin, but unfortunately it's them too. Crown being worn by Ash. Bebo couldn't get the cart to connect, but was able to get the kill on the Accolings on the other side. So ST, they're now put on the back foot. They're hoping that they can get control of the core, but it's going to be the pushback for Roof. Only one left, as only one tick of damage left on the mana. No mana, finally taken down, while the boombox put down onto the Kobayashi's core. Outside
the
of Kobayashi
bungee is
and a crown to
huge!
boot, but that slam will deny it. GT win.
Oh my god, GT just played that so well, bro. The way Orlando's was playing around the heart to keep bringing everyone back, reverse that pressure, then gets a hook into the heart, and then right there, the final bungee to pull the enemy team off of the heart res when it's about to go through, lock in the dunk. What a crazy final circle, but extremely well executed by GT there. Wow.
Very well done from them on how they played that. Looking really good as a team. I mean, looking at the players on that team too, Orlando's, Ashikata, and Deprek, all really good players that we've seen many a times and how they're able to play it. Looking really, really strong.
Symeri, you got anything to add? Homie, you want to hop in?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many chaotic fights. I think the first fight for the Reaper, I believe, on South Side, that they got the level 7, and they instantly ulted on them, and it was just they just turned the fight in one click of a finger sort of thing. And then on the North Side, there's just excellent power usage. The air blast that Hachi did in Kobayashi was incredible.
Nice.
Yeah, and the two ways going North Side. There's two-way teleporters, like everything. It was just insane chaos North Side the whole time.
And we saw at one point someone had like 4 teleporters down on train tracks at the bottom right.
Exactly, yeah. Holy.
It was kind of wild. It was kind of wild to see how that game was, and just seeing how. Let's see. I just want to see what they're saying in chat because I just.
Oh,
saw my name.
he said Eva kills count as 3 points, right? MadMagical.
Oh yeah. No, this is not happily Eva after anymore, Luca. That was a different tournament, different day. Eva now is kind of a little strong at the moment. If you haven't played any Eva, I would say now she feels a lot stronger in how she's able to both heal but also deal damage.
She's kind of a terror right now. I'm not gonna lie. I thought she was strong before she got buffed.
Me too.
I think she needed the movement stuff. Like I think she felt clunky. I like the movement changes. I don't know if she needed the 50% orb healing increase though.
Yeah.
Right, are we ready for the next game, gents?
Ready when you are.
I'm ready to go.
All right,
let's
let's
get
go.
into this next game. All right, but Symeri, so looking at how that game went, GT winning, but it was a chaotic game for sure. Like FF really had control of the mid game for a long time. How many squad wipes they had? Like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But they're able to get there.
Oof. I don't know. It was just the mid game was just complete chaos. Like the farming was quite slow at the start. Everyone kind of dispersed relatively evenly, and then it just, I think by like zone 2 or 3, you just started to feel the pressure, and then everyone just collided with each other.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those scenarios where it looks really good for one of the teams, but then it's almost like they flipped the coin too many times on some of those coin flip fights, and eventually they were going to lose, and it just ended up happening where they got picked by Kingpin, and being just down 1 player is really difficult sometimes, especially when you're having those awkward Kobayashi things where We saw even FF Hachi was able to get that nice double knock with the grenade
Yeah.
into the core, but it didn't matter because it's still Kobayashi's, and if you're able to get one player on there, you could still res the team.
Yeah, exactly. And then it went to end game, so there's all the mobs are there. It's really hard to to try and kill anyone without the mobs just completely obliterating you. And then it got teleported away to the right side, so it just made the chaos go 10 times more.
Alrighty, but here we are getting into our second game. We are loaded up onto the breach, and we can see a pretty typical drop here. It is going to be, if I recall, it is cross-country storm for this one. So it will be really fun to see how the teams are going to get pulled around the map. But looking at where the drop should be, Emotech having all 3 of the golds, very interesting one. But the fact we're going over places like Coldfang Skeep Academy, where even Wraith's Row, really good areas to try to look for those initial fights. And BC are going to have this academy slightly contested by Dan.
Magical, can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you. There
Okay,
you go.
I think I had.
I lost you for a second.
I had like
Yeah.
a connection dip or something. You guys cut out, but I'm back.
Awesome.
All right.
Let's go into game 2 here. Looking like oh yeah, fight over boss armor shredder gonna be very contested here. And it looks like NT is going to be able to lock it in. Oh, level 5 instantly. So much XP coming through now. Level 1 TBC very much on the back foot with that Shredder onto Yacer the Myth. Probably one of the scariest hunters to have it. Like that. There's so much
Yacer,
XP
too.
if you can win that last hit.
Yacer, I think, is one of those really good Myth players, too. So having it not just on Myth, but on to Yacer's Myth is going to give a lot of power there over to the team and see how they're going to be able to play. But we go all the way over to... Are we just going to see Kobayashi's all day today? Feels like we're just always in Kobayashi.
Please take us to Kovas. No. We see MXT farming up in Entrain here. Everyone fairly split. We do see a little bit of potential action up there in Kobas. Not sure what's going on. A couple teams just eyeing themselves.
GTR
Ash still on the
winners.
level 1, so trying to play some catch up here.
Yeah.
All these guys on the level 1 on GT. Orlando's going down, so bit of a rough start, it looks like, for them, trying to find what camps they can above Imotech, but there's not much up here, Magical.
Yeah, it looks like they lost the fight against ST4 Imotech Control. So they're just going for the scraps poverty run, unfortunately, for GT. Might even look for that Kobayashi's res onto Orlando to bring back the team, or that you can go for, there's various other respawn beacons you can get this early on. They're going to have a lot that they can look for, but it is going to be quite a struggle for some time for them to kind of bounce back into this game. But we're looking at a team that's not too worried about bouncing back into the game. NT looking really strong. OC15, I already kind of called out before, as someone who's been playing a lot of this EVA. And so having that with a very aggressive team.
Yeah.
You got Godfrey playing that the Shiv as usual, like Yacer on their Myth. So having these two really powerful hunters with EVA as well. I'm really looking to NT with this kind of loadout from what they've been getting from items and even the power-ups to be one of our strong teams of the lobby.
Yeah, and I really like that strong start, right? It's like we have a really strong level 1. We have a Shiv, we have a Myth, we have an Eva. Let's put our orbs under this boss and just cook it. And with Eva's orbs, like, your chance to last hit that thing go way up. So they commit to that strategy. They use their powerful level 1, lock in that early XP, get the powerful exotic. Now want to be rolling that tempo into enemy teams, and they're looking to do that here in Machine against BBL. And there's going to be so much damage coming out from this Myth if they're able to connect their shots here.
Very close as Yacer's been pushed back in, wasn't able to get the phase away, so is going to fall as now Godfroid forced to snap out of there to survive, but now they are split up and it's going to be difficult. NT losing one and absolutely getting exploited by BBL, who were able to punish the position there of Yacer.
BBL Blink there on the Oath has a perfect read on the entry from Yacer. Yacer looking to phase shift through the wall, and he just shields him back into the wall as soon as the phase shift comes through and just deletes the Myth into the 2v3. They get another knock. Looks like OC was able to get away, get the res, but Sprocaine now under some pressure up here in Imotech by ST. Baroof getting a knock there. Still 13 squads left. Crowded up here, though, Magical.
Yeah, I mean, crowded as NT might be able to catch GT on this poverty run trying to escape, but they were able to get the ghosts. It's all about the fight afterwards. Two-way tunnel for OC15, getting a little bit of damage onto Orlando's and starting it off by taking out Kingpin. Will help them out as they are now getting that 7 for Yacers so they can continue the hunt if they want to onto GT. It seems that GT were able to get to the Vein Grove in time to get away while two teams are pushing northward. BC on the heels of Dan, who gained control of the base camp on the top of the hill.
Yeah, BC has a pretty interesting, it reminds me of more of a squads comp. It's a myth, it's a kingpin, it's an oath. So kind of playing this front to back, pump, kingpin, engage. Oh, but so much violence happening here south. The Kobe's shin in with the fusillade.
So many teams.
Oh,
almost taking him down, but it was a good snap away as they're now over the abyss. Yacer has been taken down by Hachi. FF forcing NT back into Kobayashi's the pull to make sure they can stop that Wisp, while TBC, they're still looking to see if they can enter in a better position up against the teams that have been holding control of Vein Grove and the north of Kobayashi's. But it seems that no teams really want to fully do battle, just want to get these initial picks and then continue to push down, especially as the bosses now spawn.
Yep, and it looks like we have two teams that were looking to contest Fate Rewinder. They're not going to quite push in. Not looking good, I think. They just think too much stuff is going on, I guess. Too many teams around. So Echo is actually going to get that for free, and they're going to get out for free. So nice play by them to secure that in. Coming over to Fortress. So much damage coming out on SD here.
Sprocaine, though, has peeled away. Has very low health, but might be able to heal back as they try to avoid the Mega Boar, but it's going to be the push to finally take down Sprocaine and SSD are split in two directions. Soul going north, and we even see that BlackRock going south. Won't be able to join with the rest of the team for quite some time, but we have to look at our teams that are migrating down south, getting pushed down from the cold areas of north in Dawn Caps, and we'll kind of see if they might look for those picks onto one another. It is going to be the blink in with the anomaly for BC, as three teams are in the Fortress of Ion Acres.
Yeah, and it looks like Dan was going to be in maybe a rough spot there. They are going to just shift out, but they're back in looking for an entry. I think that was a grab from Aiden onto Mithy, so they lock one in. Really nice pull there coming through from the Aiden Kingpin. An absolute classic in the EU scene here. It looks like Dan is going to get out because the rest of POG has another team on the right, so they're going to let him go. Violence up here coming out of the storm. Echo trying to live with this rewinder. Actual one shot. Oh!
Yeah, literally the last one has to rewind into the storm, but pushed back and tries to get as far away as possible to deny those powers, but they're going to be cleaned up. We have our first team eliminated here of game 2.
That's crazy. That's the first team, bro. What?
Yeah,
Still
there's been so much fighting,
on the map.
And we have another potential fight here at Manicoils. Pog almost were able to find that pick onto BBL as Blink had gone forward, but they didn't seem too confident afterwards. They didn't want to risk it, especially because the 2A tunnel had been taken and secured by Blink. So they are going to continue to peel back with Little Mape holding on to that armor shredder. We see a team eliminated. C9 taken down by MXT all the way down south. And it's going to be more teams converging on the Manicoils, but no team really looking for that initial engage, just looking for the bits of damage, the little bit that they can get on one another.
Yeah, BBL saw BC coming down to the north. They're trying to work their way down to the right, so they're not in the position to get pinched here. They're continuing to poke with Pog, though. Just lots of kind of damage getting traded there. No one really getting chunked too bad. Coming over to Wellspring, we got Baroof and crew kind of holding high ground on the fountains here. Looks like XP Soul is up. We got multiple squads positioning around it. SSD kind of has advantage on it. They do have a teleporter under it as well, so we'll see if they're going to be looking to take this right before the final hit here.
That's what I'm thinking, is they know there's teams around and they do just teleport it out. No way they want to have that contested, but they didn't go far enough away. It is going to be the push in from ST, getting damage as a phase walk from Sprocaine leaves Black Grog alone and pushed back towards the hatchling. Almost taken down by the Meteor Beast, but it is going to be SD losing control of the Meteor Beast over to ST.
Yeah, really good idea there by SSD, but, you know, not quite able to execute it. The teleport comes through a little bit early. I think there was a little too much pressure from multiple teams there. They felt like they had to do it. And in the end, ST just runs up to where they put it. I think they had intel on where it was going to go and kind of crush in on top of those mobs, putting out so much damage. They're forced out. So in the end, ST kind of comes away the victors there, but SSD going to be just fine recovering. BBL has been continuing to look at the flank of multiple teams as they're working their way down from the top right of the map. We see NT a little bit on the run. They're going to run right into WTB here, who have themselves a Vive Soul. Grab onto OC.
And OC15 has been caught away from the team, having split down south, didn't get to join with the rest of NT. So losing your Eva, the healer, going to look a little bit rough for NT as they're pushed back by Sandwell. They even noticed they are not alone here in this fight up against WTB. Dan, we're nearby, but we got to continue to look at these potential fights up north. Kaizaro is the first one taken down, as now Pog pushed back towards the Geysers. Campo was able to get the reset momentarily on the team of BC, but Adamark is looking to bunny hop and dash out of there to get away from danger.
That's a scary team, Pog. Like, those players are all cracked. Like, they're just like kind of running this game. It seems like having like every fight going their way. BBL in a rough spot here. Shin on the right is gonna rewind back, but looking to put huge pressure. They're like triple pinch. Dan on the left.
Yeah, they have the two-way teleporter. They're hoping they have enough time. They are gonna have to rely only on Blink, because Dan are gonna stop those whiffs. Well, WTB aren't going to deny Blink his way out of there. Blink is holding on to that until the bitter end. Doesn't want to go into danger. FF are pushing down south and trying to gain control of the base camp. Well, we look all the way on the other side. SSD only having one remaining. GT chase down the remaining member. Take out Soul.
Yeah, so off the back, it probably of that, you know, teleport play on the Soul Boss, SSD does end up getting knocked out, not able to fully recover from that. And Violence continuing on that island to the bottom left. I love this part of the map for Final Circle. Like, there's so much, when there's a lot of Abyss in play, we saw it kind of above Kova's last game too, but especially with Kingpins in the mix, with a lot of Abyss in play, it makes for like such good kind of pushing and holding space. But this MXT squad also has a really like kind of aggressive comp. The Kingpin, the Shiv, and the Jhin. Lancelot on the Jhin, like, especially with a lot of Abyss around. Speaking of Abyss, some Vivo tech out here building the bridge.
Hello.
Love it.
Just keeping the team all the way over here. Just making sure that they have a guaranteed way into these final circles, especially because when you have circles like this in a cool area, such as we are seeing right outside of Catacombs, does leave a lot of Abyss to play with. So if you're not able to kind of buy your early stake on some of this real estate, at least you can create some of your own market.
Symeri, I just noticed your ping, bro. I'm so jealous. That looks such a nice.
It was really
number.
bad to NA though, so during the whole closed beta test, it was really difficult. But
gotcha,
I'm happy with how better you said now. So
no, it's all paying off now.
yeah,
nice. Hell yeah.
Ooh.
Coming up to.
You see that circle there? Did you see that where that circle is taking us? It's taking us even further down south. It's cross-country storm, so I was almost expecting it to start going more inland, but it's going to keep us at this really interesting spot with these really thick walls to play around.
Yeah,
and
that is
a lot
an interesting
of
spot.
Right? I kind of like this. This is going to make it interesting. We have 10 teams still up. Not many options to revive your squads either if you've lost a member or two. So you really have to see how well you're playing on moving too with a lot of these open areas.
Yeah, and something I want to call out that I was talking to my homies about, shout out Blue Supervivors, we were like, there's in the world of trios, the importance of anchoring is just so like valuable. And what I mean by that is at least one player on your team is always thinking about getting out and playing in a position where they can get out no matter what goes down. So they're looking to contribute to the fight, but they're also looking to have an angle to live. And it's even more important than trios than it was in squads because of, number one, more third parties coming in because more teams on the map. But number two, it's just like there's so much just like chaos happening that you have to find a way to just like make it happen. And huge T-slot coming out from purple there.
Making it happen there against ST. Mana will try to heal back up, but it's going to be difficult, especially because we were looking at where some of these respawn beacons are. One was controlled by GT. They, in fact, teleport that down south and get Defrak in this position with their base camp that they have this amazing setup that's going to be really difficult for teams to do anything about.
Yeah, and I thought Lancelot or MTX might look through that little warp right there for something, but they end up not opting for it. Just like that.
Getting pushed back. We have had 3 teams eliminated in a matter of just a couple of seconds there. Just seeing one after another. They were the stragglers, the ones that only had 1 or 2 players left, finally getting picked off. But seeing a lot of our teams eliminated in quick succession. We even see another fight attempted on a GT because they've lost one of their members. WTB wanted to see if they can pull back in. And it is that TP that is underneath them they use to immediately get out of danger and go back over towards Vanegrove.
Yeah, and the point I was trying to make early about the trios anchoring before that fight broke out is that I think like these players are getting better at that concept. We see, 10 teams coming in to very like kind of late game situations. I think it's because like a lot of these players are learning kind of how stuff feels in trios. Like they're getting much more comfortable with kind of the trios meta, the trios like comps, and they're learning to play around their anchor so that if they do lose multiple members, that anchor is getting out, living, getting a res through. And that kind of goes to show like 10 squads coming in. I think we were probably at least like 12 15 minutes in there.
That's a TP that is spotted out by 2 teams.
Oh.
It's GT who are hoping to TP in their base camp and respawn, but a nice pull onto ST
Wow.
will take out Baroof to start off the fight, but the punch back takes down Ash as well. 1 for 1, making a 2 for 1 trade as GT only down to Barak, who tries to blast away from ST. Gaining control, they should be able to bring back up Baroof. Oh, actually, no, he was taken down quickly enough, so no wisp to try to see if they can revive, while FF are slowly pushing their way through the desert. Seeing that MXT had gotten some control of the Sandworm pit, but Dan is on the other side, making it difficult for FF to find themselves some safety out in the dry desert. Same with WTB, who are migrating with the rest of the teams, finding purple, using the Fusillade a little early, so they take more damage instead from Sir, and then the pushback onto the rest. Gecko is traded, but the shields are gone. Over the Abyss, Kingpin goes. Deprek could have blocked for the snipe, but it wasn't able to in time.
Dude,
As
Lancelot doing work.
pushed down to the edge, and Lancelot might have gotten enough damage to be able to revive the team. A pull takes down 1 member, and WTB, they're now seeing if they can re-engage to help out Sir, but the storm is pushing fast.
Man, that was looking so rough for MXT, but Lancelot actually just staying in there, doing some clone shifting and just pumping out huge poke on with that LMB to keep them off of that wisp, and almost able to do something, but they're able to get it through, and they're going to be forced out in the end. Shin on the run here, last member left for FF after what was sort of a monster game. They've kind of been pumping all game, just going to have nowhere to go, no rewinder cooldown, going to get taken out.
No, but it is going to start off this 3-way fight. Having the push from Pog, already getting damage onto Sir, who's forced to get out of there because Dan were able to find the pick onto Aiden, splitting up Pog, and Sir will be able to heal up a little bit, but WTB are still getting hunted down by MXT and Dan, trying to run away with the storm, but it is getting difficult for a lot of these teams. There are 6 teams still remaining, but only 14 players. Not very many for each of these teams, average of barely more than 2 per team.
Yeah, it looks like Pog is going to get their 3rd member back there. They force GT off of that res, so GT do have their 3 up to the top left here. We see Lancelot after that fight with the Sandworms going to be last member left for MXT on the bush play here. Pog making their way over, though. Hopefully Lancelot can kind of buy some time here, figure out where the next circle is going to go, and find a crown. Does have some Abyss to play over. Oh, that's such a shift, bro. What is that?
Right, and taking us back now towards Coldfang, and Lancelot has to use that Fae-like clone to get away, but it is difficult as someone even as mobile as Jin to get away when you don't have much coverage, only these brushes. So Mithy can dash forward and look for damage onto Lancelot, who has no shield, not really any hope, tries to take back the high ground to get into Coldfang's keep, but it's going to be chased down by Dan this whole time, almost with the jukes. But look at how much that Lancelot is taken, and then finally pulled, and 1 more shot of the blast from the shotgun will take down MXT.
NT, Lancelot there, trying to make it happen, trying to use the movement to get his way out. Almost able to do it. Nice pull coming through from Mithy. In the end, they do lock in that squad wipe. So just 5 left here. Pog pushing down onto GT.
GT had a difficult game this time around at the beginning stages, and now they are fighting against Pog, but see that Dan are on the nearby to be able to engage as well. Same with ST. The 2-way fight. You thought it was a duel, but it's always a third party that can join in onto Pog, who only have the jewel remaining. Campo is able to get north, but more teams trying to enter into this narrow corridor of Coldfang's keep to get in with the circle. And having pushed back 1 into the storm, picking up the crown, Campo, they now know where you are. Eye of the Storm has been popped. You got to dash back in. Goes for the long play around, but there's no walls for you to get around here. It's going to be difficult as you are getting chased down by WTB to take out Pog.
But they just put themselves in such a rough spot chasing that magical. They're all gonna die for it. Nowhere to go in the storm here. So WTV ships it all the way in for the squad wipe, taking themselves out in the process. Down to just 3 here, just like that. Holy moly. What a commit like there, that, dude.
I know. They're hoping to play for a quick kill onto the crown, get back into the circle, but that was a risky one. Like I said, with that wall especially, it makes it so hard to get around. And now our top 3 teams, GT, even having a rough start in this one, are now finding themselves in that top 3 again and looking a lot stronger as they are level 14 compared to the rest of the squads, even having the glider jets for Deprek and a nice disguise there for Orlando's too.
Oh, yeah. Yep, the delicate disguise on Kingpin, absolutely brutal to play against sometimes. The stealth warnings are better than they used to be, so it's a little more manageable, but still can be extremely challenging to read what he's trying to do right now. Perhaps a little, invisible hook, invisible slam action. Accolade
I don't know
reads
if you
it,
saw
almost gets hooked.
where this is going, Zick.
No, I didn't.
We are going back up to the desert.
We're just right back up.
Pretty much the same way we were. And now teams that had just entered the keep have to go through that same corridor to get out of there.
Oh.
This hallway is not going to be too safe for any teams. And Dan, the first team in control, they're going to be the team that you have to push past. You got to get past the guards in order to get out into the desert.
Yeah, and it looks like ST is going to opt for the jump pad angle over the wall. Probably the right play there instead of having to go through this corridor like you're talking about. But they are going to find themselves in the sandworm pit, and Dan is right there ready to answer. Ooh.
Almost were able to find it. Trying to see if they can get the pull from Mithy, but it's going to be the start from Baroof, and then the blast off on the Myth in the back line. But Clerney was able to survive, only delaying, though, the inevitable. Now GT, third party. The team that starts the fight is going to struggle as Dan are struggling to get away. They've been separated into 2 plays as they try to escape, but when they are getting chased down, and it's only Void remaining. Dan Bridges doesn't really have much he can do here. No crown, no revive. Nothing before him, but GT see ST before them as they push back Baroof and Co. back into the circles. Dan Bridges grabbing a crown, but it's got a nice 2-minute countdown to wait out as yourself on a Void.
Oh.
I don't know how you're going to be able to do this, especially because you see the teams ready to collapse, almost working in tandem with one another, chasing down Dan Bridges. Not going to get the punch into the wall. Even the Singularity does go wide. A Twister to get him over this wall with a sand wall too. Dan is still alive. Credit where credit is due for this Void, staying alive despite 2 teams that could have easily taken him down.
Yeah, and the other 2 teams aren't doing the kind of normal, like, agree to take out the crown. They're still fighting each other. They're still poking. GT wants it. They look, and it looks like almost able to get a kill through on the Oath, but they're able to back out. Orlando's almost going down as well, able to back out, has the Rewinder, delicate disguise. So this Kingpin is terrifying. Shredder, glider on Deparak. These guys' powers on the side of GT are cracked, but ST has double soul, 5 soul, infinite healing, XP soul, all abilities up to 3.
Oh, they send it down. What a punch! Takes down Mana as they shove them into the wall. But Dan might have found his angle. He's decided to join in. He's looking for a spike onto anybody, but he's got 45 seconds remaining. A swap on the other side, but it's a bad position for Dan. Puts down the Singularity, not in time. It's going to bring back SC. Accolades immediately taken down, but GT pushing them into the storm. This island not looking so safe. They're fighting for control, but it's rest of the way as GT take 2 in a row.
Wow, that was crazy. I just want to, we got to shout out Mana on the opposing Bishop there, was having such a good game. I saw Mana get so many good entry punches, like making so many plays, but in the end, Detbrak gets the better of him with that final entry punch, puts Mana into the storm, insta-deletes him, puts them on the back foot. They try to make a miracle happen, chasing the crown. They do get it off, but in the end, it's too much violence coming through from the side of GT. They're able to just wrap it up there, finish the kills, and lock in first place here for Game 3. Game 3?
All right, I'm going to let you and Symeri talk a little. Yeah, we're going to get into Game 3. I just need to grab some water. I was getting really thirsty during that game, so you guys talk.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. I'm good when you are, bro. Symeri, you can.
Yeah, sure, no worries. Yeah, I'll just tell them to wait a couple of minutes.
No,
yeah,
you can tell them to go, bro. We don't want players to wait. Magical can get water.
Yeah, the punch by Detbrak, he just completely full in and got the kill, like without barely taking any damage. It was like flawless. That last fight, and Dan Bridges just with the survival. Like, I'm surprised he got to 1 minute left. That was just.
I mean, doing that on Void, bro, like to survive in that situation on Void is like extra hard. I don't know, for me at least.
Yeah. And the zone pools, obviously, with cross country, like, it's so fun to spectate, but sometimes it's horrible to play. Like, those rotations are really difficult without like a 2-way or something like to just get around like safely. Even then, you're taking a risk because you don't have all the information. You know, sometimes you're just
Right.
teleporting kind of blindly.
Yeah,
But
that's like I love what two ways bring into the game, like both two-way teleporter and two-way tunnel, because of what you just said, where it's like can be so clutch, but also you have this like RNG element of like what's on the other side potentially.
yeah, exactly. And especially when there's things like delicate disguise in the game, it just
Yeah.
there's always that extra level of fear.
I feel
So
like the delicate disguise was playing like coming through huge for them right there, where that whole time, like there was just this invisible kingpin lurking on the south side that both teams were having to watch out for, where you
exactly,
just have like
exactly.
no idea whether the slam or the hook is coming.
I mean, Orlando's was getting like super mega value with that. So props to him.
Oh, there we go. I got some water. I was very thirsty.
No worries.
Welcome back.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta give a lot of credit to. This is kind of something we see from a lot of our top teams is how do you kind of bounce back from a game when you fall behind, right? GT lost Molten Fortress to ST at the first
Yeah.
moment of the game. Both those teams dropped there, and ST were the team that won. So GT were on this mega poverty run where they went north. They tried seeing if they can get some farm back for themselves, and it really wasn't looking too good. As even at Shards of Fate, they kind of were Dawn Caps. They were getting pushed around. Teams were chasing them, fighting for every bit of territory. But GT were still able to ride through that and survive through a lot of bad spots to get themselves back into the game when they started to actually have more items. They started to look a lot stronger as a team. And props to all three of those players with how they kept their mental strong and continue to truck on through the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a
especially
really
with their 13 teams. Like I feel like it's really difficult to get
yeah.
those mobs to get that level 10. You need that level 2 ultimate, I think, to kind of get that extra damage or extra utility. So they somehow managed to turn it around. Really good.
Alrighty, so here we are, game 3. I didn't see what the storm shift was. Sorry.
It was Glider for this one.
A glider. Okay, so glider fuel we have for this one. As we see how this drop is going from corner to corner, from east to west. Gonna be a lot of fun to see how teams are going to be able to take this one, because this one probably offers the most opportunities to really spread through every bit of the breach and have each team really try to stake a claim. But we see a lot of teams actually dropping north. I'm surprised how many teams had dropped up at Emotech, and right at, like we see here, GT were able to get themselves control of the golden armor from the train, and then they can go north to Dawn Caps, and they should be able to have some free farm that way too.
Yeah, it could be like a potentially really nice start for them. And sometimes like the the cheeky objective angle where you do something that no one else is quite expecting can get you really ahead. Right there, Shin almost able to get Cookies down, but in the end the grab. Oh, the pull that up for the wisp. Cookie says,
Oh.
"Not today, brother. This guy's going in a box." Oh, that was awesome.
See, for me, it's I don't know if you're getting this issue, Zick, but I'm having a lot of rubber banding where it's like kind of jumping forward a bit on the feed for me. Maybe it's just my internet, honestly.
It might be on your side because I've had a pretty clean. I had a little dip, but for the most part, I haven't really had any like frame dropping or lagging on the Discord stream.
Yeah, I've been having a decent amount, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I think it's my my computer's been having some issues lately, so
for anyone, yeah, and for anyone watching, I'm recording on OBS as well, so later on we'll have a YouTube bot that should be, if there are parts of the stream that are a little choppy, it should be good on the YouTube side of things.
Yeah, exactly. So should be able to have that up probably later, and then see how this game is going to continue going, because right now we are having these initial fights as Yacer was able to get that boombox, and WTB in a bad spot getting chased down. Sarah's going to be the target as only one will remain for FF Mekimec. Oh, not Mekimec. Oh, sorry. We had was it WTB was able to get out of there? It was Cookies who was able to escape.
Yeah, only Sid, I think that was the only one.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay, I thought for some reason that 2 people had gotten taken down, but we do see that there is another one going up north. Should be getting all the way into Kobayashi's for the revive, so WTB not going to be eliminated just yet. A lot of teams, though, still are looking for these early fights.
Yeah.
C9, one of those teams as well. We see how they're able to push back onto Blink, but only a little bit of damage. They're going to be able to heal that up pretty reliably They continue to posture with control on base
Oh.
camp behind them.
Oh my
Dude, so the grapple
What?
slam doesn't come through because it gets blocked, but then Tom Kick answers back with just the regular hook, gets the kill anyway. So BBL forced out to the north here. Really nice look there by Tom on the signature Kingpin. Love to see it.
Yeah, what a pull. I think that was max range, like the last pixel you could possibly get with that pull. I did not think that was actually going to land. And I think BBL were a little bit questioning on that too. They're like, oh my god, that actually hit? I can't believe it.
Well, it's like these Kingpins that have a lot of experience on the Hunter, like they, you know, kind of will make a predict on better players of like, oh, I think they're going to maybe dash back right. And when you get a hook in that situation, like Kingpin connects at the back end of like a dash that's coming through because he reads the dash angle, and then he gets like, you know, he shifts backwards. So you have like momentum going in opposite directions. Just looks like the most monster pull. It's just like so good.
It's really nice. I love those plays from our top players here. As we continue to have our players running down south, kind of chasing one another, looking for just a little bit of damage. Are we having another circle at the desert?
Might
Dude,
be.
I would love that. Samiri, by the way, bro, if you feel like jumping in game during any of this, you feel free to say stuff, dude. I don't want you to think like you're just only on in between games, bro. If you want to, I know it's hard to obs and cast at the same time, but if you
Yeah, I just want to find
say
that right
something,
pocket of
feel free.
time, so I'm not like talking over someone else. That's all.
Okay, word.
Oh,
I just want to make
you're
sure
all
you're
good.
good if you want to.
What's the noise?
All right.
Right
yeah.
now, our teams continue to move down to the desert. See how they're kind of going past one another. And when you have circles like this, I feel like this is when the most action will always happen because they're all getting pushed simultaneously into one of the corners of the maps. And being Cold Fang especially means that there's a lot of desert and a lot of these areas to fight over. Greninja tried to go with a fuselage, but it was taken down by Godfroy first, and then the pull with the boombox, keeping NT alive. Beckon to drag them back and keep them pinned as we try to dash away. Luca is going to survive with Tom Kick right behind him, but it is going to be difficult for them to get out of that one and try to find a better position inside the circle.
We've seen a couple times now, Magical. It seems like in the Shiv v Shiv Fusillade battle, whoever Fusillade's first is at a disadvantage because that's like the third time in the last like 6 minutes we've seen Fusillade v Fusillade, and then the second one kind of is able to counter the damage and get them more healing through in the end. So nice play there to force him off. But speaking of Fusillade, Shin, one of the better Shivs out here, having a couple really massive ults come through in the first couple games. Looks like they are going to be split off from the rest of FF, looking to just find a peel angle, get to the shot, buy before anything crazy happens.
Yeah, just kind of seeing where the rest of FF are. They're all the way down in Catacombs. I think it was a revive from Hachi. I was able to get them some control, but being that it is glider fuel that you have unlimited, you can make it a little bit easier for yourself. Like right there, Shin taking down Adamark over the abyss. Kaizara was hoping to predict that one, but Shin just went straight for the battle,
Shin
even
is
going for the full
pumping,
dash
bro.
with the Fusillade. 1v2, taking them down. Box res on the other side, but this ain't looking so good as FF getting control and looking for another pull. Mecky Mech on the side, waiting for Adamark to arrive, but it's the blink in from Shin, trying to dash away as they're over the abyss and over their death. Only one remaining. Moku finally taken down. Our first squad has been benched.
BC thought they had Shin kind of caught out, and it ends up being the reverse situation. Shin actually catches all of BC out as they chase, and his team comes up to follow. So really well played there by Shin to turn that around squad wide. Yeah, huge amount of damage coming out there. SSD almost getting it through. Another fight down here. Rebel one shot.
Rebel getting the slam in a spot where I thought it was certain death for TBC, even jumping over the anomaly. Godfroy hunting down this remaining member of TBC, but Rebel not going to make it too easy. Godfroy so close behind. There's going to be a mortar thrown down, trying to predict that blink. Almost was able to do so. Revel might have gotten out of danger and might be able to get towards that revive to bring back the rest of TBC.
Yeah, and despite, they did some, TC did some preemptive, like, Shiv nerfs, like, coming into trios. Despite all that, appearing like Shiv is still an extremely powerful hunter to be, out here in this kind of comp, like in the trios comp. If you think about her kit, what she can do, the amount of damage, the amount of resets that she can get through, the amount of self-healing she can generate, like just an extremely powerful skirmish hunter. And so in these high skirmish, 3v3 battles, able to contribute a lot of value. We see shivs on many teams here, and it's like there's so much damage coming out when they're able to connect a good fusillade.
I saw that bungee shot there. Almost was able to drag him into the pool of Tom Kick, but not quite. As we look at our other Meteor Beast, 3 teams contending for that title and trying to take the experience soul for themselves, but it's going to be Pog running away. Push back. WTB have taken the high ground, and they could look to enter the fight as well, but nobody wanting to risk it. Not when there's a 3rd team there. Don't want to be the team that is the first one eliminated out of the 3, but we're seeing more teams are venturing down towards that Meteor Beast, and it is going to be difficult. MXC finding themselves in a difficult spot as well. Barely able to get towards the Sport shop. Oh, Lancelot just dashing forward, taking down Yisser, and having it so it's MXC still at a pretty decent spot.
Yeah, that Jin slant dunk can come out so fast. Like, he Q1s from the bush, then just shifts forwards Q2, and like before you can even see it, just into the abyss. A really nice play there by Lancelot, playing the Jin angle excellently. And like you said, Magical, just so much violence breaking out around this XP Soul. Fight to the north, fight to the south. Like 5 teams showing up here, trying to position around this. It looks like Pog is going to get slightly the better ST, getting a knock there on Baroof. Coming back down here to C9, looking for an angle on MXT potentially. With glider engines, there's going to be a lot of room to play around this abyss.
Looking for the bull any spot they can. Did we see on the kill feed that NT only have 1 remaining? Almost whoa! Where's that going there for Tom Kick? Going all the way which around.
Dude,
it was able to stay alive.
Dude, the grapple slam by Tom Kick, but then he gets cooked by the enemy Kingpin. That was an insane interaction. Yazer with the R&D pushing in the storm. Oh,
nice. And they were able to get away from the pull, so NT still alive. Dan could continue the push, but they got to be careful because TBC, even if their armor is broken, their spirits are not, because they have reformed as a squad and want to see if they can take down some of that are before them. Seeing Dan in a bad spot, the Storm right behind them, knowing they have to push forward, going to get as much damage as humanly possible onto Dan first. But now that BBL, I've heard some of the commotion. They want to join in to a tunnel. That's not a really good one as they try to escape. TBC will be able to get out of there, but it's going to be the chase down in, and almost the napalm summoned right at the exit of that tunnel.
Yeah.
A lot of damage to the BBL.
I like the idea. Almost able to get something cool to come through there. That's a cool play. Napalm on the other end. That was like what you were talking about earlier, Symeri, about the danger of the 2-way. Don't know what's on the other end.
Shin is going to be on that respawn beacon out in desert. Getting the teams back as best they can. There are still 11 squads. All of them, well, until Meki Mech just fell right there, were fully formed. And now a 3-way fight is WTB. They're able to trade 1 for 1, but now that TBC have entered the fray, and an Abyssal Breaker might take down OC15, leaving only Godfroid to run away. Crown they can pick up, but not an easy way to find some of these spikes, especially out in the desert. It's not going to be an easy place to fight as a solo member, but FF were able to... Wait, did I just get jumped forward and the team got back up?
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what's happening on your end. It seemed like you were narrating what was happening, though. I didn't...
Okay.
It seemed like it was legit. But
it like skipped forward for a bit on my end, so I was like, oh, what happened?
like FF is just continuing the violence. They're always looking to fight, and it might bite him in the butt here as ST on the bush play right behind him, looking to get some vengeance, and they are.
Ooh. They put themselves in a base camp's position. They were able to take that back for themselves, but it's going to be the push back in as Hachi is the one split away. Fusillade from Shen does get them enough distance away, but ST and TBC now stare one another down in the desert. It's a wild, wild west here for our teams as they are looking for the duel, but who's going to fire first in the fight? ST don't want to be that team that pushes into the base camp, not just yet.
Yep, I'm a native Nevadan, so I appreciate the desert duels. Oh, Mithy almost able to get the res through like literal half second, and Campo is able to get an angle onto the beacon, able to completely stop that. So what was almost a really clutch kill res there by Mithy gets turned around, trying to frog jump his way out of this, is going to get an angle over the wall. Really nice frog jump there to get himself out, finds a crown south, so going to keep his team in it, but... Really close
Keeping
play there.
themselves alive. So they are going to make it out. That was so close, though, for Mithy. Literally had that last second, but props out to how they were able to deny that from Pog. So they stand right on top of it. And then they go for the recall onto their teammates to make sure that they even more so are going to have the fight. That's why we saw Mithy not actually play for the respawn beacon anymore.
Right.
Even if the timer had run out, once 3 people are there on top of you, you're not going to be able to win.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not about even like, you know, killing the person on the res or anything like that. It's literally just putting your body in the circle like we just saw Campo do right there to just stop the timer for a split second. And sometimes that's all you need for, you know, like you said, your teammates to find you. Really good recall there to follow up and push him off. So nice play. He does still have crown though, so Mithy's still in it, still under these teams right here, looking to find an angle. Maybe
people have
Cookies
crowns
as he works his way south. Mithy right here.
Oh, they don't realize Mithy's there waiting their arrival. The dunk to grab the team back. A perfect timing for Dan as they push WTB into the storm and proc another crown for themselves while fighting the desert. NT struggling with the summon napalm on an OC-15, but the fierce line from Godfrey was able to take down Revel, snapping back to the team, but now the ST are pushing down south. They make this duel the good, the bad, and the ugly, and NT are the team that is struggling to get away. Revive OC-15, even putting down the orbs of Argus. Now FF, they join in as well. More teams piling upon this dog pile, but FF look to only fight up against ST, while NT will stay down south against TBS as it's a push on to the respawn beacon. Here's the launch, and it's going to be a chilling finale too from ST, looking for the roots outside, and they take down Shin, while TBC continue to push back. Same with NT. They want to enter in and take away some of the cash for themselves, get themselves some of the prizes, so they will be perfectly fine, but OC-15 is gone. NT only have Yes Sir and Godfroy alive, and they're split up. OC-15, oh, they're going to attempt that from Godfroy, leaving Yes Sir in the middle of everybody, surrounded on all sides, and it's not looking too good from Yes Sir. Even if he was able to escape for now, has no health in order to survive any further fighting.
Dude, both NT and ST playing that so well, so scrappy, both getting pinched and pinching each other from like this 4-way squad fight. And in the end, ST somehow able to kind of come out on top, still continuing the pressure against TBC here, who's kind of been poking at the side off of this high ground the entire time. But NT fought that so well as well, just staying in it for so long despite fighting on multiple fronts. And just right there in the end, NT will get taken out. And
double Abyssal Breakers.
Yeah.
From ST and from TBC, but TBC were the team that was able to take down Mana, and now they use that 2-way tunnel to go for a flank angle, pushing back Acklings and Baroof, but they got to make sure they're staying as a team. They look for the hunt down with Arcane Railgun, but instead it's a chilling finale and the pull in to make sure that Revel picks up one more onto SE, leaving a lone Baroof in the middle of Cold Fang Keep. Pog already in control of the keep as they are pushing back this stronghold and taking out one more. SC might have survived for a little bit longer, but it is dragging out Pog to make sure they can take down that kill on to ST.
So despite both the teams fighting it really well, NT and ST, both back-to-back squad elimed there, cannot handle the amount of third partying happening. There's the third, the fourth, and the fifth party, and then the sixth party on the left coming in. It's like sometimes a little too much. Really well played by both squads, but they are going to go out at 8th and 7th here. Still 6 squads left in this pretty crowded inner circle here.
A very crowded inner circle. MXC revived the rest of the team. Lancelot was the only one who had held this high ground for himself for a while, and Theo is going to be pulled back in, unable to escape from the danger TBC put back onto them. But the teams need to start entering into the keep. Look at all those walls that have been placed down. C9, we didn't even realize they have made this their stronghold.
Yeah,
they have put down
look at that.
everything, so no team's going to have an easy way to enter in as the Storms continue to push down south.
This is the Tom Kick special, dude. The macro strategy genius here. Just always playing the, you know, the big brain. Let's put up a gabillion walls and hold this fortress for ourselves. Kind of knowing, reading where the final circle is going to be coming in. Mithy, after bringing the whole squad back, finds himself as the last member again. No crown this time. Might able to get the knock here. Oh, but the Zeph ult pushes him back, saves the homie. So really nice ultimate there coming through.
Keeps him alive, eliminating another squad, and we're seeing that this circle, C9 could not ask for a better circle. This is legitimately their circle. It is continuing to hone in on the centermost point of Cold Fang Keep, but now they want to fight and they want to take down one. They take down Ash. GT though, Pocker ground right away as they are still alive, getting on the other side.
GT.
But it's going to be MXT
Holy.
as well, who have been able to enter into this castle of C9.
Yeah, Tom Kick's still on the hunt. Lancelot on the solo bush play in the fortress. Covert operative. No one knows he's there. Just going to play some placement for a little bit. And we see Magical fall from grace back on the bunny. The Izuna. This is C9's game. These are comfort picks. The Kingpin, the Izuna. Oh, but the pull on Tom Kick.
Bull does drag him into the storm, but GT, they get Tonk back into the storm. They didn't want that one for Ashigata, but they have the damage on to fall, trying to get away. Now that TBC have joined in, they got a crown, and Tom has been pushed back. His own tomb, he's pushed down. TBC, Brock the Crown, are alive as they can now take control. It's an empty castle abandoned by its makers, but all the teams are now locked into combat with one another. Dredzy tries to split away from TBC, while TBC fight against GT on the other side too. Rebel, the only one that will be able to survive, might be able to find that crown on the other side, but Pog are making that impossible, chasing away Rebel all the way to that uppermost crown, while GT somehow are in the top 3 again.
GT is playing this insane, man. The way they just like lived somehow off the crown proc in the bottom left of the storm, make their way up, get a hook on the Tom Kick to kind of take the, you know, the king out of his fortress there, and almost, we saw fall from grace, almost able to bring Tom Kick up, puts him in the backpack, has the GA, so Tom Kick does get up, but in the end, it's not going to matter with the third party coming in. So Caster Curse just takes Tom Kick and crew instantly out of there, while GT now on the top foot, but Pog has something else to say about it. Campa win!
Dashing back, they got the damage onto Ash. Ash is going to be the first one. Second win to push him back, but we're waiting to see if Rebel's going to be able to find the pulls, but it's going to be the win here from Pog as they try to zap a boombox to survive. But where's the pull land? Drags Dead Barek all the way to the pits of hell with Rebel, but there are going to be a lot of walls surrounding you, and your tomb you'll find. DBZ eliminated. GT only have Orlando's remaining, and with no crown easily spotted out, it's on the other side. Orlando's has to make a godlike maneuver to get out of this one. Mortar put down, and he cannot escape from the danger. Pog have now posed onto them as they will take game 3.
So GT refusing to die, but they cannot handle this endgame tempo of Pog. Pog just sees, they just got blood in their eyes. They're just putting out so much pressure on both squads there. They see the pull go through on the crown, make their way over there, finish all that off, and in the end, Aiden, Shroom, and Campo having a really nice finish here to close out the fortress battle. Not the original owners of the fortress, but the new the official owners of the fortress here in game 3. Is it, dude, I am so bad at keeping track of games. Is it game 3?
I think it is game 3, yeah.
Game 3. It's
Thank
game
you.
3. Yeah. So Mary, kind of looking at that game and seeing how that was, I almost thought GT were going to win a third one in a row, but that one probably was their least active one, where we didn't really see much of them until the end.
Kind of an upset. I think especially like, well, the play that Luca had, he had red GA, he got Tom Kick back up and then ended up feeding the most wanted, so the flips were just consistently happening. There was about 4 or 5 most wanteds that got popped that game. Like,
Yeah,
it was just
crazy.
endless, like, it felt.
GT played that so well too. Like the way they kind of lived somehow off of that first third party in the bottom right, made their way left, and then locked in that hook and kind of give themselves advantage over Tom Kick squad, and then they take out Fall from Grace. It's like all of a sudden they're, you know, they were all about to die in the storm, but then the crown proc and the hook just turns it all around.
Yep, and then top side, there's some really nice like bush plays. I think FF's team got caught out really badly, but they managed to like kind of scrape it back a little bit, and then I think they got finished just a little bit later on, so they couldn't really stabilize after that.
Makes for like, I don't know, trio seems like scrappier fights. I don't know if that's like the right way to describe it, but it's like you have to like how do I word this? It's like you have to react so quickly because you have one less member to kind of help get out, and so in the like violence, like you talk about FF kind of like pulling it back, like you have to live and die on a lot of times your micro in the moment, right? Where,
Yeah, I agree.
a big shift from squads to trios is, literally more of the outcome being under your control as a player. You have 33% of the team under your direct power instead of 25. And so I think we see that playing out a little bit more where like teams like FF that have these really high skill, mechanical players are able to somehow live in these situations just off of their micro going crazy, just like somehow able to get out between multiple squads or get kills through for multiple squads. Like the beginning of that game, the way Shin played that, over the Abyss, I think that was that game,
Yeah, on the
right?
island, taking out Adamark. Wow.
And then that just turns around in like a full squad wipe, like from them chasing Shin. And it's like, I really like the side of trios where that sort of micro gets to like shine through a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're playing the macro game, it feels a bit more like you're very territorial over the kind of land you control and the resources you have. For example, if you need those mobs, you're typically you have to poke a team or maybe even fight a team full on just to get those mobs because you really need those levels. You need those those level spikes if it's level 5 or level 6, 7 or 10. Like they're typically all like big ones that you give a real meaningful power spike sort of thing. So.
And like with more teams on the map, like it being more crowded, it's like even, the holding space and winning those little battles, like every little battle for each creep, for each little bit of XP is like more and more important because there's more teams vying for that XP. There's more teams vying for your space, your position. So it's like, I don't know. I'm pleasantly surprised by how Trios has been playing out. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not too surprised. Like, it's not like they went from like squads down to duos or solo, right? It's one less player, which
I guess it's just like from my perspective, Magical. It's literally I've been playtesting squads for like almost 4.5 years, so it's like
true.
It's
That's
like
true.
it's just
and,
a
like,
weird
for
shit.
me too. It's like even for me, it's like coming from League of Legends where it's 5. It's definitely a difference for me that I feel in a lot of these games.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those things when you think about it like more holistically, it's not like you're losing that much of the identity of the game. It does change up some of the metas, but honestly, because we're still like working on a lot of hunters and having more that we don't like having such a small roster of hunters makes it so that we don't feel it as impactfully.
Yeah, and while like we see, some clear winners in the kind of meta right now, at least in this tournament, like the Kingpins, the Shivs, there's always a lot of bishops in EU. But it's like I do think to your point, the trios has opened up the meta a little bit more for different hunters to actually have the ability to shine in competitive play. You think about things like the Jhin, things like the Izuna, things that we saw very rarely in squads competitive. Like they have a little more room to work. Like they can kind of play to their identity a little bit more instead of having to play this like front to back, squads set team comp. Like the meta was getting, just a ton of oaths, a ton of myths, a ton of ghosts, a ton of Zephs. It was just like a lot of standard, always the Kingpin, right? But a lot of standard kind of front to back. And in trios, we see more of like this agile, scrappy, like I'm going to play comfort and I'm going to, it seems like there's more opportunity to make your comfort pick work. And because there's like just more versatility in what you can do in a trios comp, and we kind of see it, even though we see some standard picks. This team is a perfect example. The Kingpin, the Shift, the Bishop, right here. There's definitely a lot of, we see Lancelot on the Jhin, we see Fall from Grace on the Izuna, we see Dan Bridges on the Void. We see some picks coming through that we don't normally see, wouldn't normally see in the squads meta.
Yes, now NT fighting with SSD for control of Academy. Both teams kind of sharing some of that experience, not really having either team fully in control, even if it's a level 5 here from SSD. Oh, that pull denying the teleporter away from Yastur. This now puts them in a bad spot where they can get jumped upon. But NT are going to get out of there with the help of that anomaly. But now they are going to be struggling as they are way under leveled compared to the team that is nearby in SSD.
Yeah, and speaking of like kind of lower prio picks, I like seeing Soul on that jewel there. I like to see, some players not quite giving up on the jewel. She can still go crazy. You just don't have the insane potential of the iframes. Right there, nice catch out by the jewel on Campo. Gets the ground through into the shift. So easy delete kill points there and a member down on BBL.
I've been looking at where our teams dropped because we had one of those conical shaped ones, so more of the cone for our drop that at first didn't
Plain
allow a lot
cone.
of
What
the
is a
teams to
plain
spread out.
cone, Magical?
Plain cone? It sounds like a snow cone that you have on a plane.
And it forces you to drop in a wide or narrow angle.
Yeah. As like, I don't know. I want a snow cone on a plane now. Am I the only one?
I
feeling that way?
picture a plane with one of those, like, you know, the cones the dogs wear over their head when they go to the vet so they can't bite themselves? I picture a plane
Yes.
wearing one of those.
I like that. I like that one too. That's a good one. As FF are split up, getting around some of the ruins of Chaos Steps. We're waiting for Hachi to be able to rejoin. Shin has done a good job of not getting jumped on by Campo and not even having the static built up. So Campo, having missed a lot of that, now pushed into the wall. Gonna die first and foremost. FF chase away our winners of game 3. Pog now going up north to see maybe if they can retreat into Imotech.
Yeah, they're keeping up the hunt here. Oh no, FF is gonna look like they are gonna pull off. So Meki Mech abandons the chase. No, they got multiple members out. Don't want to chase it. ST is up above them in Shards of Fate, so it might have a little contest over Imotech as Pog makes their way up there. But FF kind of farming in Chaos as well. We see ST here making their way down into Imotech, grabbing this fire. So Pog is going to have intel that they are here, seeing that fire cap. But FF, Shin actually made his way up here, looking to steal this XP before ST can make it.
ST actually fight them off of the big one, the one with all the experience. So Shin now has to feather away, gets onto the boat of Imotech, but is struggling to get with the team. Even if you dash away from Mana, look how low you are. Mana trying to land some of the rockets, not going to be able to get the kill onto Shin, who is able to heal up enough with some revive. And now that they have split up, Meki Mech waiting for the boat to arrive to help out the rest of the team. Hachi's going to be the first one to get out of there, as they might even want to escape through Kobayashi's.
Yeah, and FF is good at this. I like this early strategy. It's basically Shin split farming, and Shin, if they run into enemies, they'll kind of just like bait them and play like back while their team catches up. And we saw it work out really well for them last game. And right there, even though they don't get any kills through, they just waste like a minute of ST's time. So I think the way FF is kind of playing this split farm with the Shiv is looking really good here.
We see a lot of our teams finally having something different. We are now going up north, the exact opposite of when we've seen most of our games, which has been down in the desert. Said they're going to all find it nice and icy cold here. So, talking about those snow cones I was saying before, even Twin was saying he wants a vanilla ice cream cone going with it. ST have split up WTB, but it's going to be them split up as well. Baroof lost the shield, and then they lose Akalinks on top of it all. WTB only have to worry about Mana now, but Mana has been able to fight off one of the members. Cookie's unable to lock down that kill on a Mana.
Yeah, ST wanted that fight. They were the ones kind of running down WTB, like WTB. WTB turns it around really nicely, gets the slam through, and just pumps damage with the follow-up and able to knock 2. And so just like that, WTB kind of win that fight. Now ST on the back foot, working their way down. It looks like Tom Kick on the runaway rings angle here. Up, gonna find a lot of space in the north side of the map though. So even though C9 also on the back foot, probably going to be okay to recover here if Tom kind of reads that top right being open. Taking a look at Dan in Mage Bog level 7, farming up nicely, rolling into day 2 here. Both these teams fighting for this XP, trying to get 9 real quick before they look for another engage.
Kind of looking at how our teams are positioned right now. A lot of teams are going to meet up in some really strange spots, one of them being here in Kobayashi, since a lot of teams are going to have to pass through it if they want to get to Dawn Caps, to Shards of Fate, to Frag Isle. And seeing how there's 1, 2, 3 teams over by Ion Acres, you're going to have to enter into Kobayashi's at some point. C9 will be able to get the revive in the middle off that core.
Yeah, and BBL looking for a vault here. So many teams around Koba's, like at least like 5 teams like hovering around there. Jumping up to SSD and Sprocaine. Looks like Soul is split off somewhere. Soul has the flank south here on TBC. Rebel barely missing the hook there. Echo still looking for an entry, but
they finally realized it. I was wondering if TBC were going to recognize that Soul had been on that flank that whole time, and they did.
Yeah, that was a good
Rebel
read.
had barely spotted him out, so they actually do get themselves to safety, but the commotion has alerted BC that there are teams here, and they are looking for the pull. Pull landing, dragging him back, but it's going to be the pull back to save the team for BBC.
teammate.
Keeping it BC in this game as SSD now have to go through the icy north and get through Frag Isle if they want to find any safety, because they don't want that play anymore against BC.
Yeah.
Oh, and Shin maybe getting caught out a little bit here, trying to trade as they work their way back through the storms on this weird kind of Koba's angle grab, almost coming through there on the side of Aiden. Not quite. Meki Mek waiting for him, goes for the slam, and Aiden gets baited in by Shin. Shin's so good at pulling enemy teams into his teammates as he's running away.
As Pog are all running away. They are trying to get out of there, but they have been tagged. Eye of the Storm to try to get to the rings. No, splits away from Shroom, hoping that one of them will be able to survive. But BBL had been waiting that whole time. It is the pull onto Wisp to make sure they can stomp that from FF. But it is going to be a kill nonetheless, leaving only one remaining. As now, teams are really struggling. We have a lot of our teams so close to the brink, and finally a team will fall.
Yeah, we see Shin, another knock ending in a squad wipe. C9 there. So that's our first squad out, Magical. Look at the map. There's just so many teams
Working their way up here. That is insane. Multiple
And
squad.
there's
Soul
not
crystals
enough
out.
land.
There's
Sick.
not
There's
enough.
not enough land.
Nope. this these Dom caps aren't big enough for the 36 of us.
Well, 35, because we do hear one team trying to go for the respawn beacon. So one team not fully formed. And even these meteor beasts in awkward spots way up in the north of certain parts. You see BBL did take down Shin, finally finding that Shiv and SSD are trying to take control of XP Soul and themselves in a better position. But BBC have been waiting this whole time for the pull to drag away the meteor beast, denying that, secured by BC, and then BC even having a nice oath to dissuade them from engaging any further.
Yeah, really well played there. Lock in that soul, easy peasy. Pull into the Hudson gun. No shot there. Really nice execute. And TBC looking to push this beacon. Dan didn't even need it. They were all up, but they were kind of holding that space. Really nice engage by TBC. Pushes them all off. Mithy one shot, trying to look for a bush angle, get the slam through. Just anything he can to live here.
Anything possible, but it's difficult when you're getting chased around these ruins. And now SSD engaged too. Mithy sniped down by Arcane Railgun, but SSD can steal away and then look for the dunk on the Echo for Blackrock.
Yeah, that tether dunk into the slam, really nice there. Coming through from Blackrock, locking in another kill. Echo goes down. Oh, the double hook contest on the shrapnel. Meki Mek's arm is stronger.
Arm wrestling there. It was an arm wrestling competition, and Meki Mek won, so they get the soul. As NT on the respawn beacon, Malcu was not able to dissuade them from getting the revive, but it is going to be difficult for NT to get out of this one. They were surrounded on two fronts, and they end up getting out only because teams don't want to continue to push, especially because 11 teams still remain.
Yep, and Rebel way out here with the crown, trying to just... are we on gliders?
Platform? No. I don't believe we are. He might have a platform. Oh, it is glider. Oh, okay.
Okay. So he's playing the deep crown.
I thought maybe it was
yeah, I was like, there's no way without a platform, there's no way he's going that way.
Oh, nice pull with the Hudson shreds.
Dude.
Yes, sir. BC take that away, and then a nice block from the pull out of Cookies. The BC not threatened too much, and other teams fighting on other fronts. FF tried to engage onto C9, who were pinched from GT on the north, and even MXT on the other side as well. So 3 teams surround C9. Means that they have to peel at the one avenue they have to escape. It's going to take them far away, but FF are now getting engaged by WTB, who steal away the camp and almost are taken down, having a lot of damage. Blast off with an Abyssal Breaker Slam. There goes Cookies. Shin can re-engage. Another pull on Yasir, but the bungee shot will drag him back for another blast from the Rockets. While BC helped to clean up the other ones.
Dude, it's exactly like Symeri is saying during the break, where every team is just fighting over every little scrap of space, every little creep, like even just the little creeps getting grabbed away from each other by the Kingpins. Kingpins just trying to jack everything they can with the grabs. It's just like, it's so scrappy out here, man. Everyone just fighting for every inch of territory. Reminds me of like football, dude. It's just, it can be so close, literal inches with the root. Oh, Echo able to live it with the beautiful feather there.
Getting away from what should have been certain danger for sure, but well done from him as SSD chased down by ST. Avalanche has been thrown down. BlackRock escapes from the chilling finale, but his finale is almost here. Landing the rockets is all it's going to take. BlackRock was able to get enough distance to the rings as well. And now he's too is going to be over the abyss to survive for SSD.
Yeah, with glider engines, dude, it just makes it so it's like if you have an angle to get to abyss, you're just like free. You're just like, get me out. And BlackRock finds it. Gonna be way out to the top right there. Maybe gonna find a cheeky res if TBC can be distracted here. But during that, SSD Sprocaine able to get a res through onto Soul. So SSD back at full power, trying to steal this fire for themselves, get a little bit of position back.
That arcane railgun does a lot of damage at this point in the game. See that nearly take down SSD again, as Soul had barely just gotten back on their feet and almost had to go back to the gray screen. But with our last boss taking down Arshan, it gives Bubba's brains to ST. We still see 8 teams remaining, and again, not much real estate to buy up this early on. A lot of teams have already claimed their stake, as the rest that are out over the abyss or out of Frag Isle are going to struggle to Domcap, sorry, are going to struggle to find themselves back in the game, while MXT are pushing back to FF. And even having the blast off on the other side, looking for the punch into the wall. MXT separated as Purple tries to get away. Same with Lancelot, but there's only so many dashes, as ST have entered as well, ready to do battle against whoever's before them. MXT need Purple to survive, but he just couldn't live long enough.
Man.
FF remove one more contender.
We came over there right as it started, but it looked like FF had a really good bush angle. I don't think MXT knew all 3 of them were there. They get a perfect engage out of the bush, just wipe them up. Really nice play there. Get out clean, and just off of that, GT grab through, big push.
C9 on the other side, though, might be able to join in as well, but they don't want that. They just use the blast away from Tom to get back into the circle, while Luca has been left alone. Greninja and Tom might meet up, but the rest of this fighting, the chaos, right at the fringe of the circle. GT lose Orlando's, and they are getting blasted back by ST, who realize they're on the other side of this wall. Same with FF. Fuselage looking for Deperek. Ash, the last one remaining, but a nice snap back, dodging away, while Ash has to use the Tog to get back to the rings. Might be able to survive, but without a crown, not looking too good. Puts down the frozen territory, letting Cloud9 deal with them instead. But it's going to be the push back, finally getting the crown proc, but losing a teammate at the same time for C9.
Oh, no.
A little bit unfortunate, while ST find themselves still chased down by the remaining factions of FF. Even over the abyss, ST couldn't get away from one more mortar.
So ST die chasing the Bebo. They commit to the Bebo chase. 2 of them hop into the cart on purpose, trying to get this final kill onto GT. In the end, they do not know that C9 is waiting there. C9, perfect third-party opportunity, follows up, finishes off multiple in the abyss. So really well played by both the final Bebo on GT there, as well as C9.
BlackRock in a bad spot here. The Storm pushing him over to TBC.
Ash is doing
strong
work
outside
here.
and seeing that Ash, but Ash needs a crown. You need something. Where's your Tonk? Is the cooldown back there? He doesn't even use it, just goes into the Storm, letting SSD take the attention of TBC. Same with BC. We have a broken shield from Oath, but they're going to be fine. They're still in the circle's range. We even see that Tonk all the way up north had been used from Ash to get away. Still dodging away the best he can. Unfortunate crash there from Ash, and even that pull. Fuselage, Jin looking to clean up what they had started beforehand to take down Ash, even with a pull, slam down, and the jump pad to take him out in the Storm. Now only 4 remain.
Ash doing everything they possibly can there. Unfortunate, it looked like maybe Tonk right into the edge of the wall there. Not quite able to get out on that last one, but doing a big job surviving. I think ranked up 2 spots for his squad in the end. Kazaro getting the grab onto Fall from Grace, dunk into the abyss. Now just Tom Kick left with the crown for C9.
35 seconds remaining. Long stretch of time. Might seem like for some, but for Tom, he's been able to pull off even bigger miracles for the team. And with FF slowly pushing towards them, we hear that the dagger had been sent out, and Tom was hoping that someone would chase him over the abyss. He's getting close to the end of this timer, and no team has been able to stop him yet. It doesn't mean they're not going to look to stop him now. 15 seconds as BC see the spike walls that they'd placed down before, and Tom Kick, if he revives the team, it's going to be in the middle of a lot of players. Dodging away from the bungee, perfectly timed, but the last minute snipe! Hachi finding the rocket to eliminate Cloud9.
Oh, so close for a Tom kick there. Just tragic. Literally the last player right in the middle of every squad on the map right there on this middle island, looking at 9 players everywhere around him. And just not really nice snipe, honestly, coming through at the very end there to finish him off. So just 3 squads left here. In game 4, we have Shrapnel Soul on the side of FF. We got a fully evolved red armor on Hachi and Shin. Full pinks except for Mech missing 1 shard. So there's going to be so much armor shredding damage coming out from the side of FF with huge armor of their own. So if we take a look at like TBC on a couple blue items still, you know, level 12, they're going to have a little bit of an uphill battle. They do have the armor shredder on their side, can be, and the team frog jump, so can be, you know, still putting in, and Treadsy on that ghost we know can pump. And so definitely still a shot there. But, you know, I think FF, as far as the items, the armor goes, has advantage here. So they want to, you know, play this patiently, play to win. And BC does have XP Soul on the bottom here, so not, you know, too shabby themselves. Purple and golds, it looks like.
Sick.
So,
I feel like we've said this a couple times, that FF looked like the team to beat in this game. We've said it a few times just today on how they've been able to play, getting these early leads. Now they find themselves in the top 3. And this time, I mean, I don't want to cast a curse them, but it really does seem like they are the team to beat with how powerful they're looking from the power-ups to the items to the armor, as you were talking about. Everything just seems to be going FF's way.
yeah, and what they don't want to fall prey to here is gap syndrome, where they just are so antsy to fight that they find themselves getting third-partied. This is their game to win. They have, you know, the kind of powers, they have the armor, they have the equipment, they have the position, if they play correctly on this next shift, to lock this game in. And they're waiting for this. They're waiting for these 2 teams to kind of be forced to fight and then look for their angle. And it's going to be an easy dub. And, you know, where that can come into play, though, is one of these teams does some crazy huge entry here by TBC, just completely deletes BC.
BC have only Adamark left. FF are now
Oh
waiting for
my
the time to
God.
strike. And it's as BC get eliminated that FF look to take control. But they're just going to look for any pull from any angle, but not going to be able to land it. Mech losing the gold armor from so many snipe shots that are landing out of this arcane railgun from Treadsy. But FF now engaged. Fusilod getting a little bit of damage. They've summoned the napalm, but look at the blast off and the pull back in, trying to see if they can take down Treadsy. First one is going to be taken down, as now they've split up. Echo, last one with the punch in, but being the only one remaining can get slammed easily for FF to get their first win of the day.
Dude, so we have to shout out TBC there, because they are not afraid of the third party. They see the angle, they ship it in, blow everything, and are able to squad wipe in almost like 5 seconds, literally before FF can get there. FF does show up basically as fast as they can react to it, and do find themselves in a 3v3. The difference there is FF has every cooldown up, and the other team just blew everything on that engage to get the squad right. So it's like FF coming in with advantage on top of their already, you know, kind of equipment armor advantage that we were already talking about. Textbook there from FF to come in with a third party, but really well played by TBC to find that angle, find that insta squad wipe. 3 more kills and a rank up for them, you know, even though finishing in second.
I mean, I gotta say that just how these games have kind of gone, like, Symeri, I don't know how your thoughts on this are, but it feels like we have almost 2 different viewpoints on how to play the game. We have some teams that play for more the late game, like GT has definitely been one of those teams that's been trying to hold on to later points of the game. But then you have teams like FF that are very aggressive, do try to play for a lot of these early fights, and it feels like there's almost this counter, right? There's this counterbalance that goes between those 2 different styles, and when FF are able to get these massive leads, it just seems like they are nearly unstoppable from a lot of teams. So is the way to stop them just to never fight them?
I mean, it's kind of like we've seen, I don't know, it's a tough call, because we've seen multiple games, multiple situations where, like, early on, Shin is on this kind of split farm with the Shiv, and some enemy team will spot him out. They'll commit to the chase for the 1 kill, and Shin will basically sort of outrun them and lead them into his other 2 teammates, and that will result in kills coming through for the side of GT. So it's like, and the other team, the whole time they're doing that, even if they don't get killed, they're sort of, you know, wasting their time chasing this Shiv that they don't end up catching. So I think, you know, they're playing the early game strategy really well. But yeah, it's a good question, Magical, because if they are able to execute on that, like in that game, and make it to late game, it puts them in a spot where their equipment, their armor, their powers, because they've been scrapping the entire game, kind of are superior to everyone else in that final circle. So, I mean, I think where you punish GT here is the same way you punish Gap, like when Gap used to play in NA, where the over aggression is most easily punished by a good third party. And so I've been saying GT, I've been meaning FF, sorry, Shin's team is what I've been meaning to refer to here. And so if FF can continue this tempo, but if another team can look to third party that tempo, find the angle when FF is in these early skirmishes, I think that's sort of the angle to take him out here.
Here we are, game 5 of our draft scrims today. Only 2 more that remain, and this one is going to be Final Destination. Was it Final Destination or was it?
Yeah, it's Final Destination. Yeah.
Okay, but that's what I thought. I wanted to make sure. So Final Destination for teams, and it looked like it was taking us down to Skyrat's run. Is where I think I saw the indicator.
I think it's Iron. I believe it's Iron.
Oh, is it here? Oh, it's hard to tell. They're on top of it.
No worries, yeah. All good.
So we'll find out in a little bit exactly where we are going, but right now it's going to be Pog taking control of C9, pushing him back. As Pog still have to fight against C9. Campo almost getting the resets, but not quite. C9 got the levels, and they chased down Pog, leaving only Shroom remaining.
Yeah, a lot of early fights here. Another one breaking down in Cold Fang, it looks like. And so, like a little more early scrapping. I think teams looking to find, if you are a little bit behind here and you're looking to find early kill points. You're looking to find early XP off of enemy players. Give yourself that kind of tempo advantage to have a high kill, high placement game. Like if you find yourself in game 5 of one of these tournaments and you're, on the lower half of the scoreboard, it's very often worth the risk to go for a, what's quote a more risky hot drop if you're able to find some action and potentially get some kills, squad wipes, early power to come through for your team. Nice entry there from Soul. Gets the fully stacked shift through onto Yes Sir. Godfrey trying to defend his homie, looking for the Wisp Res, but Soul and Sprocaine pushing him off nicely. So in the end, Godfrey going to get zoned out. They get the kill through here. SSD kind of winning this little scrap down here in Scavenger.
We saw that OC wanted to kind of stay on the other side, was looking for that flank angle on Eva to get a little bit of extra damage, but unfortunately, as Eva, you can only really look for that flank when you know your team is also going to be engaging in a lot of these fights. But Godfrey was able to get one knock on to Soul here. 1v3 recall from OC right in time to save Godfrey, but they've got the of Argus as Blackrock now pushed over the abyss. Soul had been resurrected, is going to dash back to Sprocaine. The 2 of NT deny SSD from winning that fight and getting more knocks.
NT is not afraid here. They are willing to fight this 2v3. They showed it right there. Godfrey had a really nice engage on the 3. OC peeled in. OC in trouble here. That's one thing about Eva, especially if you don't have your orbs out. Not, super easy to pull off over Abyss. So gets kind of forced down, forced to glide there, knocked out. All of a sudden, Godfrey, last member left for NT here.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it's like when you have Eva, when you play Eva, you are so susceptible to getting jumped on, especially when it comes to certain hunters that have a lot of dashes, like we were seeing right now from SSD, as they were hoping to get Godfrey, but Cloud9, they intervene, maybe saving the team as they do find Soul split away, want to steal away that gold armor for themselves.
Yeah, SSD kind of pissed there because they're like, oh, wait, we want this last kill on NT, and Tom Kick sees the gold armor. He's like, I'm going to grab one of these. Just pulls him back.
Like, ooh, pretty, I want that.
Yeah, let's lock that in. So nice from C9 there. Little cheeky pull, gets themselves a gold, puts SSD a little on the back foot off of their victory over NT there. NT able to get away off of that. So actually, C9 doing NT a big favor.
Keeping the team alive as now we go over and see how the fight is going to go in Vane Grove. Push back and forth from TBC and FF. Hachi not going to be tagged by the spike grenade, but a railgun doing a lot of damage. Same with the pushback in from Echo as Night descends. Meki Meka was hoping to find the slam down, but they are in a bad spot. FF might have the high ground, and they're looking to see if they can corral TBC into one another. Stun onto TBC and looking for Revel with a blast off. Fusela, they hit that level 7 spike perfectly. They can chase down TBC over the abyss. Echo drives the mantle away, but Trenzy fighting against 2 while Hachi almost takes down Echo instead, peels back north to get rid of Ghost.
Yeah, what a spicy fight. Both these teams are, two of our top like scrappers loving to fight. FF gets the better of them there. Forces, they did get a member out, so are going to be able to hopefully live here. MXT hears the violence making their way up. Hachi sees them, has full intel. So MXT does pop the UAV, gonna get, map vision, including where the rest of FF is over here. And they see BC pushing up as well.
So simultaneously, we have two teams looking for FF as they held on to the hill, but they are no longer kings of it. Pushed away by BC, MXT as well. Almost were ready to flank, but it's going to be an immediate respawn beacon from Hachi to bring back in Shin.
Yeah, sometimes like if you can like tempo ego a beacon right nearby, if you hit it super early and kind of force it before anyone knows what's happening and can react, it's really good. But we see a rematch here between SSD and C9, full stack squads. But in the end, C9 gets the full wipe without any members going down.
So they saved NT and then they eliminate SSD. They got to be a little bit upset about how that all played out for SSD because they were winning the initial fight, but then Cloud9 win afterwards, and now we have a delicate disguise secured by Hachi. Spurple dashed back with the rest of the team.
That's definitely like, one of the frustrating things about trying to understand and get better at the macro of this game is like just accounting for third parties. It's like, what is the right call there? And they're going to be looking back at this VOD like, how do we play that better? Like, what's the right call? Like, when we see C9, like, and someone gets hooked, like, does BlackRock continue to chase north? Do we just peel right? Like, how did it kind of all fall apart? Because it was looking so good for them. And sometimes there's just, like, there's so much kind of RNG that can happen in where the third party comes from and stuff that there sometimes is not, any amount of planning you could have done, perhaps, to prevent the situation.
We see another difficult spot. It seems that it's almost this rock, paper, scissors match that's been happening down in the desert where NT lost to SSD, SD lost to Cloud9, and Cloud9 now have lost to POG. NT might be able to make it full circle.
It's full circle.
They might be able to make it full circle and find Tom the split away as they're looking for the Beckon. They put down the rain of arrows, and Tom, no escape.
That's crazy.
Will be the next team eliminated.
The rock, paper, scissors comes through huge. In the end, paper wraps up rock there.
So NT are going to be very happy about what they've gotten from all that, even though they were the team that initially lost all the way down before. So now getting themselves that armor, the level ups they need, you're going to feel really happy. But this team, Akalinks, ST, going to be a little bit less confident as the heart is going to be contested. TBC farming up around it. MXT are up on the top right by the heart as well. No real easy avenue for a player like Akalinks to enter and save the rest of the team.
Yeah, MXT is always looking for these cheeky angles, and that this is what you want to be doing with the Jhin on your side, especially Jhin Shiv. It's like you looking for these angles where you can catch someone off guard and get basically an instantly, give your team advantage, give your Jhin the ability to kind of, play in these isolated fights and chase, kind of what he's really good at. So I really like the kind of style that MXT has been approaching games with that comp. Fight breaking out here over the teleport soul between FF and POG. FF always fighting on the map here. We see Delicate Disguise back onto that Kingpin on MekiMek. That is going to be scary, Magical.
But I see that GT are just down south in the Chaos Steps, and they might want to intervene as well and deny both teams getting that soul. But NT, as they try to grab the Icarus wings, they have to worry about the rings on the other side from BBL, who have been pushing in slowly. I think they actually had secured the power-up first.
Yeah, so well played there. Coming back up to FF, they are able to get this teleport soul through, get the final kill. Oh, and almost a grab coming through from MekiMek with the disguise through the wall. Not quite able to get it through. Rebel, though, with the bungee back into the slam. Huge.
Another team will fall, but 3 remain at the heart. WTB, TBC, threatening to start off the fight. Cookies was hoping to find a pull, but no one really juicy to find just yet. Revel almost landing that pull through the vault. Could have immediately taken down Cookies and stolen away that Abyssal Fang.
Yeah, nice look there. Taking a look at the map, like fairly spread, but fights breaking out kind of on the different corners. There's not anyone really in the middle yet. We see teams working their way in as this storm closes. And remember, final, so people kind of know where it's going to be going. POG trying to hold this inner position, put NT in a bad spot. We see Aiden cloaked on the side, mana cloaked battery looking for the slam. The hook.
You're He was looking for that. He was looking for the play on the other side, but might just go for a slam instead. But it's going to be the pillar sent down. Sinner's Embrace had locked down Pog for a moment of time, but not nearly long enough. Lightning to crash down, but they're trying to get any of the storm to connect with the rain of arrows and even the push back in onto Campo, but Campo almost had the resets, barely had missed it. Now they've healed back up and look to reset the fight once more.
Yeah, and OC doing a good job trying to like juggle these orbs. We see him constantly like trying to position the orbs right in the middle of the team fight, keep the healing up on his boys while roasting the enemy and managing his mana at the same time. We saw him dip there, had to back out for a sec, regen. Oh, stun coming through off the back, Aiden.
But look at that, they landed the dagger, and they almost had the Eye of the Storm. Fusillade has been popped as they try to take out the back line, but not enough damage came in from Godfroy, but with Yasser chasing down two, separating them with the phase walk, was looking for Campo, while on the other side, OC15 and Aiden were fighting it out. Unfortunately for NT, their back line had lost. Now pull the slam down and drag an Eva to the rest of the team with a Vortex Charm 2. Only needs Godfroy, but Godfroy might have been able to get away with a blink once more. So little damage and so little time, but now the Shroom looks for the second win, connects it on NT, eliminates another quad, but Pog have been chased away by Go Team, putting down one more into the grave.
Yeah, Pog had just committed so hard to that fight. They're like, there is no way we're letting these guys get away. In the end, Shroom gets the snipe through on the Shiv, gets them knocked out at 10. So really nice kind of hold there by Pog. Really well fought, though, by the enemy team. OC was doing work, you know, kind of sustaining everyone on that Eva. But in the end, the pull coming through from Aiden, bringing him back into all three members, knocking down that Eva, kind of puts them on the back foot, results in a squad wipe here.
And Pog afterwards were even chased down by GT. We go into Vanegrove, and it feels like a lot of these teams trying to be the king of the castle of the hill as both teams fight and almost lose out to Dan. We're pushing in. There's the pull once more. Looking for FF with the slam down, but Hachi's going to be dragged back, and they might be able to get the resurrect from McMick. No. With Dan continuing to push up, they chase away and force him onto the respawn beacon. But Shin has been channeling it for a minute as well. Might be able to bring back the team while we go down south. BBL and GT stare one another down.
I love seeing Dan Bridges like always on the void. He's like committed to the void, and I love it. Like you've almost
Dan's
seen,
committed to the void.
You almost see no one play it in
the
comp.
bunny.
It's like, you know, but it's really cool to see like someone really sticking to their comfort and really trying to make it work. And we definitely see situations where Dan Bridges and his team are able to come up big through the back of the void kit. So I love that stuff.
Lancelot wearing that crown, pushed away up by FF. Was hoping that someone would chase him outside of that vault so he can get the spike, but nobody's going to fall for that anymore. Even if you see the dash over here, maybe Shin almost getting baited in. The rings helping out Lancelot, but it's getting close, and Lancelot's got a lot of time to burn. There's the dunk on which side, missing from Meki Mek and putting down the clone from Lancelot as he tries to dive away with the lava right behind him, but Meki Mek is hot in pursuit, eliminating MXT.
Yeah, so not quite enough Abyss to work with there for Lancelot. MXT gets taken out at 9th there. Pretty like more early squad wipes than we've seen, and I think that's due to, you know, being later in the kind of tournament format. Game 5, teams know if they're behind they have to scrap early, and that can result in a wipe. And speaking of wipe, just like that, Gecko with crown for WTB gets taken out at 9th. Oh, just kidding, Sir's here.
Left.
I'm trolling. Someone else got taken out at 9th. WTB's still in it.
Yeah, somehow making it out there, but without a crown. And Dan maybe chasing this down. Do they realize that Sir is there? Mithy kind of hiding out in this brush and staying with the last hope for WTB. But with the circle still pushing them all into Ion Acres, Pog are going to join in as well. Could put Sir in a bad spot. They now know that there is a Shiv here. At least Dan Bridges know. But they don't want to continue to push forward. They want to let Pog have control of this Warden first, and then see if they can find a better angle onto a different team.
Yeah, and we look just south of where Sir is at. There's just nowhere to go. 3 teams down here holding basically every space of land that you have available. No room to get to this beacon, so he's going to have to find somewhere else on the map. But Circle already closing in fairly tight here with just 8 squads left. Remember, final destination right here in the middle of Ion. So we see Sir just still camping out, waiting for a good angle to maybe find a crown, find his way out of the smack dab center of the map.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at where the crowns are, not really getting any luck with them either. Seeing that they are kind of some in Ion Acres, but they think that there's someone there. That's why he's not pushing back.
Yeah, and
Thinking
like, what do you
that
do
teams are
once you
still in
grab
the
it? Like,
fortress.
where do you go from there, right?
Exactly. You're locked within the walls of the fortress. No way out. Abyssal Breaker thrown down. But
Oh.
TBC, the angle they have with an Abyssal Breaker and the Scion, almost having everything
Jeez.
working their way. This is going to be the pushback with a death for BC. Pog 2 engage on a Dan Bridges north side, while TBC see if they can push in as well.
Scale.
Looking for the damage, send out the Pokeball. Not going to connect the stun, but they push back Pog over the abyss and are hoping to find any spikes. But Shroom has been able to get away for now.
Oh,
Same with
no.
Campo, but that leaves Aiden. Aiden, though, taking him down,
No.
finding TBC. Campo getting another spike. TBC biting off more than they can chew.
Yeah, so TBC just a little over committing on the push there. Off from one squad wipe looking so good. They're kind of feeling themselves a little over push. 2 members get spiked in that pursuit of Pog. So in the end, Pog gets out. TBC now down just to Echo on their own bush play, looking to find a way to recover here. Does have a crown to the south,
and
but
they
it might
steal
be
away.
in Red's fire vision.
Nobody? Oh, they haven't seen. Oh, no, they do. They know TBC's there now. They have to. There's the pushback. There's a, caught asleep. Well, I don't even think it was asleep. Just nothing you could really do
Yeah.
there. Sadly for WTB, at least they were able to get 7th place off that
Yeah,
one.
that's
when
like
it seemed like
3
they were
rank
gonna get
ups, right?
eliminated
From
a
where
lot
they
earlier.
were when
Yeah.
Sir got out.
I think 3. I think it's 3 at least. Because they were doing a good job, but man, there are a lot of teams that don't want to go into the fortress, but these walls are making it so they are right with one another and ready to start off any battle. They've got to start it off by landing a pull. Instead, it's going to be a hop away with the jump pad for BBL.
Yeah, that's a nice pad from BBL. Get themselves out of a really tight spot there. Pinch between 2 squads that are just looking to murder them. Nice pad over the top. Now they find themselves kind of top left, but much better space to kind of hold and play with here. No Abyss to worry about. And so we see Echo peeking for that crown we mentioned, but like we said, Red's fire is there, not going to let him do it. And now Dan just getting so chunked off here between BBL and FF.
Too. FF actually lose Shin initially as well, so they have to pick up a crown, but Dan is going to be eliminated right before TBC. 2 teams gone, and FF still are trying to fight against BBL with a pull onto nobody. Pog still pushing back onto GT, as both teams don't want to enter into the Ion Acres. But Vecumec did find Little Meep and reduces that cooldown, so the team is going to be back while Pog pushed away. It's GT winning the fight, eliminating Pog with the help of FF inside of Ion Acres.
Man, Pog was like just scrapping, having such a good showing, and just like that, GT has a really nice engage on him, forces a member out north. All 3 get picked off. FF is just on an absolute tear here. They
Oh,
find
no,
Blink in the push,
Blink.
looking for another squad wipe.
Spin dash, can he get health back in time? He can't. FF deny. As it's going to be GT
Oh, they're
hopping
in.
aboard, almost getting the blink stone, didn't kidnap anybody, but it is going to be the
Shin.
pushback from FF. Fierce Lodge popped, Shin, backline, rips them apart, but it's going to be a call for Deprek, hoping to push him back, taking down the cooldown. Shin's going to be the next target. Can he get the rockets to land? 1, 2, need more. Pokeball sent out, not going to get the stun, but Shin is going to be pushed back with a slam from Mickey. Mick denies the miracle play from Deprek.
Insane final fight there. They waste no time. They just instantly ship it in. GT does off of the Tong Tong. Don't quite find the angle. FF just fighting really the last few minutes flawlessly there. So many good kind of looks and peeling out of fights that don't look quite as good and able to really turn it around, get the crown proc through with all 3 members back with 3 squads left, just kind of finishing it out. Textbook. They find the enemy crowned on Blink. They, kind of avoid the Bebo engage, and then was looking close there for Deparak. Deparak almost able to do something crazy, but not quite in the end able to pull it out. So really spicy
Very
final
close.
there.
All right, as we get ready for our last game, I'm just going to grab some more water. I'll be right back.
Sounds good, brother.
No worries.
What'd you think of that one, Symeri?
Yeah, that was the final destination's always like top tier, and that
Dude.
was did not fail. Like it was so good. Like FF looked a little bit shaky when they Hachi got hooked on Vaingrove, but they managed to reset pretty easily afterwards, and then they somehow just managed to just keep getting kills and just kept getting power, accumulating all of that strength, and then yeah.
I feel like FF is just like really good at like we were talking about earlier, just continuing to scrap and like live off of their micro. Like when stuff kind of goes wrong for them on the macro side of things, and they get third party and stuff, they're somehow just able to individually like live through their micro and able to like recover as a squad. And that's really what's, you know, put them in a position, it feels like, to close out these last couple final circles that they've gotten.
Yeah, exactly. And it was so unlucky that Ash didn't get the blink combo. Like, if he hit a couple of people and really like sent them to the zone, they would have all died there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's like so often just like the football reference I was making earlier, just literal like inches between something going completely the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. It's like, dude, especially like as players have been getting better, like over the last 6 months, like competitive SUPERVIVE has just got like so fun to watch, man. It's just like, everyone is just playing it like, you know, like level 11, like just pedal to the metal, like, and their micros getting so good that we just see every single game, you see like play after play of kind of like jaw-dropping action where it's like, you know, the games were hyped before, but I feel like as these players' skill level has been increasing, as everyone's been getting to like grind it daily, like it just is getting like more and more kind of hype to watch. Especially like, I just really like watching EU, and it's like after, you know, kind of getting comfortable watching NA, it's really fun to just like watch another region and see how stuff like plays out a little differently.
There we go.
Yeah, I feel like both scenes have evolved like kind of differently, right? They've got their own like
100%.
unique niches of play styles and things of that nature. It's really, I've been watching NA as well. It's been pretty nice to see it evolve as well in the same time.
Yeah, and I actually, there's a, welcome back, Magical. There's a Korean creator named Mr. Sue that's around the Discords that does kind of what we do, some casting, observing coverage of Korean events,
Cool.
and he's had a couple really like spicy Korean events that he's covered, and it's the same thing, bro. Where it's this somehow like it's different over there, feels significantly different than watching an NA or an EU match. So it is really cool to kind of see how each region sort of develops its own, you know, style or meta. Dude, so many drops hitting Wellspring. What is this?
It's absolute chaos. And
It's
one person
raining.
went cold fang out of all that. That's
Oh
insane.
my god. How many teams is that?
Look at her butt.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. 8 teams.
Dude, that is a crowded Wellspring, my friend.
Yeah, 8 teams. Wait, no, I think it's more actually, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that were separated. So we have 13. That's 9 teams that all drop on Wellspring, and we're already seeing our first fight between Pog and FF as Jin almost was able to find Pog on the other side. They're continuing to hunt this down and want the play. They've even gotten the XP on their side, so they're waiting for that pull that barely goes wide, but they found Campo with the pushback, but the rock is not big enough to take down Campo just yet. And same with the pull from Aiden. Instead, though, they look for the fight right outside of the wall, so they take down Campo. They claim something from the fight.
Yeah, and what happens when you get so many teams dropping in such a tight spot like that is you're going to have clear winners and clear losers. We see a clear winner versus a clear loser right here. Level 6 is on NT versus a level 1 Hudson. So BC just doing everything they can to try to recover, get some XP here. It looks like Adamark trying to bait everyone to the right while Kaizaro just lives to the south. They have to get a member out here and kind of live, recover, get some placement. And that's going to happen, you know, that situation we just saw, one winner, one loser, happened like 3, 4, 5 different spots there as like 10 squads dropped onto Wellspring. So we're going to have some teams really far ahead off the front of that, some teams really far behind, trying to look to recover on a bit of a poverty run. Shroom doing that exact thing right here, trying to B-hop his way through Mage Bog, just trying to live, baby.
Run! You can get out of here, I swear. Just keep going. Don't stop. You can't stop, Shroom. Why'd you stop? Why'd you stop?
I think he wanted to buy. Look,
I don't care. Why'd you stop? Run!
He did the board
It's like he
emote.
knows we're talking to him too because he had the emote right as we're talking about that, and
He's
now
like,
he's
I know what
stuck
I'm
in the
doing.
bog.
This is calculated.
But I swear to God, if he gets the snock here, I'm going to die. It can't happen, right? He's not, that's not legal. I don't think that's legally allowed to happen in SUPERVIVE, that he's able to get this because they're chasing so far, and Shroom is still alive.
Dude.
How is he doing this?
This is amazing. And this is wasting so much of MXT's time, man. If they can't get this wipe, they will have legitimately wasted like 2 minutes of gameplay here.
True.
And so
Please,
now they're fully
please.
committed. Now they know that, and they're like, all right, we have to
It's
get
the sunk
this.
cost fallacy.
Yeah, it is.
They've sunk so much time into this. They're like, we have to kill him now.
We might
There's
spend
no
the whole
other
game watching this.
alternative. Like, I don't care. 5 teams can no. 5 teams can get eliminated. We need to watch this. We need to see how this goes. I need to see. I need to see him get away.
Is he gonna run into ST up here? That would be tragic. Dude, so he's just trying to. Lancelot's looking.
still
Lancelot
looking.
might run into ST. Oh no, he's gonna see the win ring. No.
No. It's also an early circle, so he's going to the revive here.
Yeah, but now
Here's
he's over
Lancelot.
Abyss with Jin.
Brings. Okay, he's still running. He's still
All right,
running.
he knows what he's doing. Obviously, Shroom has this whole thing calculated out. He drew it up before. He's showing us the board. Just wants to not.
It's like one of the
get
best
dying
D
over here.
offers. So
I'm just dying over here. It's like, how is he running this well? Like, it
Oh my
is
God.
impressive from Shroom just how far he was able to run away and not die.
Yeah, he's still doing it. We'll keep an eye on him through the map up there, but he's making his way all the way.
think Lancelot's finally given up.
Lancelot's still
Yeah,
chasing,
Lancelot's-
bro.
Nah, he's given up. There's too much
No, he's
distance
not.
being gained now. I think. Are you sure?
Okay, maybe now. He just started heading south. I don't think he's given up,
Okay,
bro. This
no,
is Jin mentality. This is Jin. This is how Jin plays. This is, if I play Jin and you're running from me, I'm the fastest hunter in the game. I catch you no matter what. You're gonna die. You're not getting a res.
Except if it's Shroom.
Except if you're Shroom on Zep, then I might give up.
Yeah, it's like I've learned now that if I ever see them, I'm not gonna even bother. I think OC15 had a disconnect. Ooh.
yeah.
Oh no. Tragic.
Yeah, that's what it looked like on my screen. So I think that that's a bit tragic. OC15, I appreciate you though playing the Eva, trying to show everyone the tech on that one.
Yeah, OC's the homie.
I know
OC
that
been
Abyssal.
playing around for a while.
I was gonna say Abyssal Cup's next week, and I know that his team's been putting a lot of practice onto how they can play with Eva. So I'm really excited. Like,
Hell yeah.
just OC15 in general has been streaming and playing a lot of Eva in the scrims.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, shout out OC for, trying to carve the path for the Eva meta here. We love to see it.
All right, now let's see another fight all the way up north. It's ST and FF after giving up on that chase finally. No, it wasn't FF. What was I saying? It was someone else. But
MXT,
FF,
I think
I've
it was
been
MXT.
It was MXT, that's right, because it was Lancelot.
Yeah.
But we see that FF are fighting over the boombox. That could be nice for them, but could be better for ST if they're able to secure that. That way they're not worried about getting engaged too heavily from the back line. But we see MXT, they are all the way separated by Mage
in
Bog.
Academy. They're way out there.
I think
the
so.
rest of Pog is.
Yep. But it's second circle still, so still
Yeah,
not
yeah.
that
They
much
should
damage.
have time. This is a heated
Oh,
boombox
nice
battle.
pull. Oh, but it snapped back. Oh, they pulled it a little too far. So it was able to go back to where his perch had originally been. Seems that ST will get themselves the boombox unless a miracle steal with the wall. That wall just denies any of that rocket damage that could have splashed and maybe stolen it away.
Yeah, and boombox incredibly strong exotic power to be acquiring here. Some players on certain hunters can get really high value at it, like hunters that need to be able to survive an enemy engage or are looking to engage themselves and buy like a window of time in the proper moment. It's like we talked about it last time, Magical. I think the Bard ulti. It reminds me a lot of the Bard.
Hey, there's MXT. That's the team I was talking about.
Yeah, and we see clutch boombox right here coming through. They save a member. Mana about to get a die there. Boombox goes down, able to full heal back up. So really nice use of it there from ST.
As SSD arrive, they get off the platform. This is their station, and they almost find the play on a Mech. They even force Shin off of the respawn beacon. Hunting kills, looking for Shin, as Shin almost was able to get away, but has gotten over the abyss. Does Blackrock continue to chase? It's difficult up against a Shiv. We see that MXT and ST still kind of posturing like they want to fight, but now that GT is here, MXT are trying to peel down towards the heart in a bad spot. Two teams on each flank, getting damage onto them. Theo is going to be
Ooh.
spiked down whilst ST are hunting the remaining factions of MXT. Almost were able to push them into the wall, but now they have to deal with GT as they get punched into the wall, losing mana. Baroof and Accolink having broken shields. Ash, Tonk to show up and try to steal up a kill. But we go to the other side of the heart. WTB are looking to run away from Blackrog and SSD. And almost able to do so, but even with the heal and the Abyssal Breaker, is it enough to stop SSD and Echo from taking the kill? Apparently, if you get to the rings, that's yes.
Nice escape there by Gecko to get out. I was going to say ST maybe over pushing this a little bit, and they do. They get collapsed on over the top by GT. 2 members taken out. So it was looking like a really nice fight for ST just because they didn't see the third party down to just 1 member looking to recover. Fight breaking out here between SSD and TBC, just kind of poking each other out around the heart. SSD trying to get this creep XP through before they peel out, but not quite able. Sprocaine wants it so bad, but decides to just give it up.
I'm by Soul. It just, you feel bad in those moments. You look at that and you're like, okay, well, they're going to be able to take that. And you feel bad in moments like this as well. MXT, Purple and Theo had split up, so at least MXT will survive, even if that kill will be confirmed onto Purple with a slam down and low health on Shiv, an easy target for GT.
Yeah, and FF, who was on the back foot a little bit earlier, is fully recovered here. All 3 members, huge pressure out on the WTB. Gecko one-shot. Hachi finishing it off with the punch into the wall. Snags the wings for himself. So, gonna have... Oh, Cookies almost not seen in the bush. Able to double bump over the wall. Nice play there from Cookies. Dodges the hook. Able to get out.
Almost getting taken down, but back at the heart, we see more teams fighting. Aiden is taken down by NT on the top of our screens. There we see the revive, unfortunately. Not good enough to keep him in this game as we see a TP behind. Oh, WTB.
Sprocaine.
Could make something really cheeky happen here as Sprocaine does get away, but Acklings hunts him down. He takes down 1 more member of SD. All the other ones are now on the heart. They could defend their position at the heart, but it's going to be difficult, especially because Baroof on that oath is going to be scary for Blackrog, and they've split away the myth, so Soul is gone too. Only will have Blackrog on Brawl to survive, while attempted play, I talked about that respawn that had been TP'd in earlier. Gecko in the middle of too many teams, and because so many teams were focused on him, I was able to get away with the spike right in the heart. Blackrog, the heart is not your friend, my friend. There are too many squads here. Nobody's going to be getting any revives off today.
Accolink has just been hunting people down on this Celeste, just chasing people, deleting them in the RMB, LMB Shatter combo. That was the 3rd kind of player rundown we saw where Accolink just shifted up onto someone, deleted them from almost full health.
Double grappling hooks for Tom.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I just saw that, and we've seen him already have like those wild movement plays earlier with the pulse too. Just seeing that he has 2 of them now, it's even worse.
I love from the caster POV. We love to see it, man. The grapples are the grapples, the blinkstones, the delicates. They're the spice. Speaking of spice, ST almost. I don't think that was last member, but they're very split. Oath able to get away to the north there, but looking to recover. Oh, WTB, who's been on the back foot, trying to make something happen, but still, we see the other members just kind of kiting to the south, looking to live here.
The teams that remain at the heart still fighting it out. GT, ST. It feels like these 2 teams have fought a lot today. They've been part of a lot of the conversations that we've had, and it's been a lot of the fights, but it's been GT winning a lot of them. But we go all the way over to Mana Coils, and we see FF beating C9 in the Mana Coils. Tom taken down by NT. 3rd party to get eliminated. Now NT have a power position. Beckon drags back in. Almost was able to find Shin, but they are going to separate. Have damage from the Pokeball, not connect. But now they've had the arrow sent out. But sir, yes, sir, Hachi got low on that one. A lot more low than he expected, I think.
Yeah, FF just seems to be finding all the right angles. We kind of came into the end of the fight, but we see them have C9 all the way on the back foot. Tom kiting south as the last member, gets 3rd party there. So in the end, ST coming out on top, or FF coming out on top, making their way out of that fight. Looking very strong. BBL with XP Soul, level 13s down here, trying to find an angle onto Dan, holding the boat, holding the shop, waiting to kind of see, you know, where this next circle shift is going to come in probably. Oh, we do see it. It's this, oh, is it final again? Looks like it is.
Yeah, final, yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. No bullet train makes me sad, but it's okay. We'll have it next time. As now another team joining the bench.
Yeah, what's this
WTV
no bullet
unfortunately couldn't
train?
get
What
cookies
is
out.
this?
I know, right? But I'm looking at this fight over this boss, or Sean, taken down below 50. TBC holding strong to get themselves the objective, but ST don't want to make it too easy for them. Looking for any bits of damage and taking them low, forced to heal up. It could be the time to strike. They're letting them heal up a little too much, so now ST start to fall back.
Yeah, and 8 squads left coming into, I think, probably day 3 or 4 here, getting close to final destination. Still pretty crowded map. This is the point where teams are going to be looking to find some inner circle position. Teams that already have space are looking to hold it, what TBC is doing right here, trying to, you know, make sure ST does not have a comfortable entry into this inner space. But ST has been pumping this game, so much damage coming out off of Akalinks with the mana follow-up and the support coming through from Baroof on the Oath. So it's not going to be an easy task for TBC to hold this. Oh, but Sprocaine gonna run right into
Also,
him.
shout out to Tom Kick. He just raided the channel. Appreciate
Oh,
you,
let's
Tom. Sorry
go.
about that last fight you guys had. But we
Dude,
were
Tom-
looking at our teams pushed into the storm. Oh wait, what are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say we were waiting for some double grapple magic, but we didn't quite get to see it.
And we see magic right there as ST have been eliminated with a combined effort from FF and TBC, but TBC now find themselves forced back by Shin, who wanted that fight so desperately, wanted to steal away some of the gear that had been won out by them. And we go down south. NT, this Evo holding position right outside of the tracks. GT are split up, but should be able to easily rotate back and keep themselves a very scary contender to take this game.
Yeah, and it's been a spicy game. Like, it feels like over the course of the tournament, which kind of makes sense, the games have heated up, like more and more violence as teams get, you know, further behind on the scoreboard. They're looking to up the tempo to catch up, you know, look for more and more kill points early. And this game has been exceptionally violent since the very beginning, just teams scrapping. We saw 10 teams drop Wellspring, and there's just been nonstop fighting continuing here as FF finds a good angle. Shin gonna get chunked, but it's not gonna be enough.
That's going to be the problem. Is with how much damage Shin's already taken. There goes your flanker, Abyssal Breaker, to make sure that they're not going to be able to find that at all. And looking for the snipe from the Arcane Railgun is a forced blast up from Hachi to go the other way because the team has been split up. No way to survive. Even BlackRock didn't want to join. TBC, no Hachis there. They knew what your game plan was. They're not going to let you have that. They want to eliminate you. Only Hachi remains. Blasting back with another grenade into the
BlackRock
storm.
sniped it.
But even the almost attempted steal from SSD. Bull magically grabs him. Takes another squad down as TBC will revel in victory.
Oh my god, we saw the brawl vision there. He sees it, he sees the crown, he sees the kill, he sees his whole team back, looks for it, not quite able to pull it off, doesn't get the kill through, then gets grabbed back from the Kingpin. Big plays all around there, but in the end gets taken out at 6. So now just 5 squads left in our final game here. It looks like BBL level 13 with the XP Soul in a pretty strong spot. But NT, one of our teams that is refusing to die, continually scrapping off the back of this Eva healing, trying to hold the tiny bit of space they have here. But it's so tough against this myth.
Especially because they know Dan's right behind them. They know what team is ready to flank. Orbs of Argus not going to heal him up enough. They send out Sinners and Grace, but not going to be able to get it. It's going to be a back and back, and it's the kill on a Choi P, taking down the Bishop, but with a shield, it's difficult to get through. They have to see if they can get the push back into the vault, but we see that more teams are starting to move down south and migrate. Mithy was taken down, but will be revived, and we even see the TBC have moved into this really small circle with 5 teams. It is way too crowded for this amount of teams to be able to fight over.
Yeah, it's getting crazy, and off the back of that fight, BBL looking for the res up here, setting up a Chonker Gauntlet, force NT off of that. They abandon the res to try to get the kills through. Blink with the crown, but he's going to be forced right into TBC. He gets dunked, so now just Lil Meep left.
Little Meep has done this before, though. Can he pull off a miracle with no crown and then getting pulled back in by Rebel again? Another team they put to the fryer as NT pushed into the storm by TBC. Hoping to eliminate one more squad. And OC barely getting back, dodging away from the slam with a back-in, but the heal's not enough. As they will join the bench. 3 squads now remain.
TBC showing up huge this game. Back-to-back squad wipes, just continuing to blast into people. Rebel with another almost huge grab there, but look at this. Freaking Air Soul, not going to come in crazy here, but XP Soul level 15s, all abilities fully upgraded, full pink items, 2 golds and a blue. This is TBC's game to win here.
I'm looking at Dan as this team can get very threatening. Having Dan Bridges continuing to play that void. When do they decide to strike? A lot of damage onto TBC. GT taking control of the land, the territory as a boombox has been put down. But now Dan have moved up. Where is going to be the singularity? Where do they proc it? They're looking for the damage onto any members they possibly can. As they lose one initially. The push back. All of them are now corralled back into the corners. Dan Bridges, keep this in mind, have been a part of this fight this whole time. Yet we're untouched as Dan now jumping forward, jumping back, broken shield as they will take the last game.
I mean, Dan Bridges, the whole team with the perfect third-party situation there. GT just wanted the fight against our boys. Like, they were just looking north that whole time, continuing to put pressure. They didn't even care that Dan was on the bottom right, just continuing to chip from the side. They just forced that engage, and that boombox, you know, was enough to save the single member, but I think really came in clutch. And the way Echo played the end of that boombox, gets the res through on the oath while living himself. They get a little reset with 2 men in the corner while the rest of Dan runs down the final member on the other team, puts themselves in a position for a 2v3, potentially win the game. Not quite enough, you know, to be able to do it there in the end, but got to give it to Dan, Team Dan there, for the excellent kind of third party, just constant aggression from the side.
Very well done. So, Symeri, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, just
end
the
stream? Because I'm
the end games were just ridiculous. Like you said, they just full sent and Clanny's team or Dan Bridges' team were just waiting to pounce, and they just pounced at the perfect time. Like Clanny was there with ulti straight away when he saw the jump pad and just started throwing those arrows at them. Really, really good third party there.
Like, all day,
Well
the
done
final
for them.
circles have been just so spicy, and especially like every single game, it got like a little spicier. I felt like especially the final destination ones are always like so kind of like you get the vision into the, you know, the concept of SUPERVIVE of like holding and taking space, like really kind of shows in a final destination circle with like top tier players like this, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like really sad to see Blink's team die the way they did. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Blink had most wanted.
Yeah.
They were sticking res, and they just couldn't. They just didn't have enough to stay there and get it off. It got collapsed on completely.
All right, well, I'm going to end the stream here because I need to take a nap before I have to go to work today. So thank you guys for joining me today. Zikrek, Symeri, thank you so much for helping out with the
Thank you.
cast. And for everyone out there, sorry that the stream was a bit laggy. I think my PC is just starting to finally die. But it is what it is. And I mean, it's going on
It's a
6
sad
years
note
now.
to end on.
So. Yeah, but it's okay. I'll try to see what I can do to keep it living a little bit longer. But I know we'll have a cleaner feed on Zikrek's YouTube channel. so
Yeah,
we'll
and like
post
come
the VOD so
summer,
can
you
check
know,
that.
SUPERVIVE blows up. Magical has enough money to buy a new PC. We have like professional broadcast going. It's gonna be GG. So, dude, awesome time, boys. Symeri, you excellent job observing, bro. I think probably your first time, right? So, really well
Yeah,
done.
Hey, you did a really good job for your first time.
And
Really
love
good
the
job.
commentary in between games. But yeah, great job, boys. Shout out all the players. Shout out to Izuna and Sprocaine for hosting and putting on such cool tournaments for us. But yeah, GG's, everyone. Thanks for having us.
Jeez.
There you go. I'm gonna give